Hello and welcome everybody out there in Twitch and D&D land to the 5th session of New Embrace. Now, before we jump right into the action, as per usual, I have a few short announcements that I have to make. The first one is open slots. And I am very proud of myself for this. I finally went in and updated my open slot. I gotta update it again. Shit, I have another play in one of those games. Whatever, I updated it, so now you at least know all the slots that are open right now. So if you are interested in ever playing one of my games, reach out, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help integrate people into all of the fun and chaos we do here. Additionally, we have another thing called projects, and very soon this is going to be extending, as I'll be able to talk about a few other projects that I'm working on the side, things that I'm not allowed to talk about quite yet, but we will be talking about them in the near future. If you're ever interested in what I'm doing and anything about any projects I'm working with, feel free to reach out and talk to me whenever you would like. I'm more than approachable about most of these topics and love talking people's ear out about random bullshit like that. Additionally, if you like what we do here and you want to support what we are doing, please consider going over to patreon.com/GeoForUsAll. If you do that, you'll be able to support us, join the Patreon, where you gain access to our exclusive Discord server that only Patreon members have access to. Then you'll be able to interact with all the players with all of the games and participate in one-shots, like the one-shot that I'll be running this Saturday. See that? I'm good at segues. From 1 p.m. to around 5 or 6 p.m. It's going to be a long one. I am running Murder of Savannah, which is the one-shot module I've been working on and is currently in playtesting. So if you want to be a player in that, we currently have 2 seats available, because one person had to back out. And you don't need any character pre-generated. You don't come with a character. Let me rephrase. Do not have a character in mind. There's pre-generated ones that we will assign to you, and you'll be able to play. So if you are interested in doing that, all you have to do is join the Patreon at any tier, and you'll gain access to all of that and all of the fun we do. But aside from that, I don't think there's any more announcements I care to make right now, so let's just jump into the game. Where last we left off, the party finished clearing out the very large decaying estate held right outside the limits of Umbridge. Figuring out what was going on down there, some type of cultist activity, they believe, leading to worshipping of greater entities left deep beneath the planar extent of Sulum. Now, Solara spent a little bit more time down there researching it, gathering a few more aspects and details about it. However, was not able to discern anything terribly informative about that. You all decided to go back, and N invited you to their home, where you were able to talk with the lackey of the Council of Many and figure out that he seems to want to have you do a little bit more work secretively for him. Why exactly, none of you are very sure, but at least he's paying very handsomely for this. You were all compensated and left to your own devices, where he informed you of a faraway place called Balthask Wilds. I apologize. I should know it, I named it. Now, you all figured that you can go down there and hopefully sniff out a little bit more information about a different area that may have been a different location, much like the one you found deep underneath that castle. So you decide to take a little bit of downtime, gather yourselves, gather some resources, and go pursue that as best you can. After about a week, you all came back together and informed each other of what you found and different aspects that you've been working on privately. Kothar had a moment inside of a forgotten chapel that nobody in town seems to really remember who it belongs to or why it even exists. He found a devotee to some type of deity that Solemn no longer recognizes in its pantheon. The follower seemed desperate for Kothar to assist in something, but none of you were really able to figure out what it was. None of you were there for the interaction either, but we tried keeping it secret. After that small interaction, you all came back together. Rowan went into the forest to gather up some more resources for potions and potuses for you all to create. You created a couple. They turned out pretty good. However, in one of your excursions, you also found a berry or a fungus that you thought might be a very delicious mushroom for everybody to eat. After most of the party participated in eating said mushroom, you all blacked out. And 24 hours later, are scattered around town, regrouping yourselves finally, with a very large gap of time missing from your life. And that's where we're going to pick up. Rowan, Kothar, you both approach closer towards En's family estate, where you see Gabriel is currently crawling out of a bush, holding a large wild boar that seems to be cuddling into his arms very nicely. Solaris, I believe you're the only person who did not participate in the mushrooms, correct?
I think so.
Already.
I think you may have left at that point already.
So, you're in the greenhouse, perfectly fine, and you've been missing your allies for 24 hours.
Oh shit, I'm naked. I forgot.
Yeah. I mean, you found your clothes out there. They were pretty close to you.
All right,
but
thank God.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we just bought those.
Yeah.
I summon Thule.
Yep.
And I tell him to go look for anybody.
Oh, they're all right here. They're finally coming back after being missing for 24 hours.
Oh, now they're coming back.
Yeah. We're just skipping time. We're not role-playing through all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Welcome back.
Rowan, I really am sorry about the bite. I don't remember why I did that.
Yeah, I don't remember feeling anything from the bite, so we could probably just, I don't know, forget about it.
There's definitely not a mark or anything left over. It'll be fine, you know.
Yeah, I've had worse.
Shouldn't scar.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Look, I mean, I'm just happy I wasn't the bunny, so.
Oh God, the poor rabbit.
It probably had a hard life.
Yeah, though I feel worse for that boar that Gabriel's holding on to very tightly.
Oh, the boar's smuggling in.
Oh God.
What in the nine hells happened to you?
And comes walking up, like, as this is happening, and is covered in lipstick, and, like, their hair is messed up, and, like, there's bite marks all over, like, their neck, and it just looks a wreck.
Does Gable have clothes on at this point in time?
Yes, you are wearing clothes while cuddling a wild boar.
Okay, that's good. At least I got clothes on, and armor, possibly.
You put your breastplate
on.
on
One of us got to enjoy this experience. Glares at it.
I don't remember anything, so.
Guess you didn't enjoy any of it, huh? The aftermath.
I'm exhausted. That's the aftermath.
Where did you wake up? I can assume with all of this that you're covered in.
Next town over.
Does anyone want this boar I'm cuddling with?
Oh. I am actually quite hungry.
It looks very scared over at Kothar.
Wow.
Well, come and get it, Kothar.
It's fine. I don't want to cook. Take a while to skin it. Do everything else. It's fine.
I put the boar down and just wave it off.
All right. The boar starts following you.
I'm gonna have this boar for the rest of the game.
Keep it.
Any ideas on a name then?
Beefcake.
Crispy bacon.
Ooh.
Ooh, that sounds really good right now. Kothar starts walking inside.
Where did you all get those mushrooms?
Ronan.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
look fine. Turns out, not really.
I thought that was your field of expertise.
Did you guys
Look.
go on?
Mushrooms
Sure.
are a very specific subset of nature. I can't specialize in everything.
Yes, they're found in, not areas like this.
They were
Usually.
a very special kind of mushroom, obviously.
Indeed. I
I
felt
get
like
a
I was
look
a
at-
dragon.
What'd you say, Solaris?
Did I get a look at the mushroom before they all ate it?
I'll say
I think all of
sure.
it might have happened after I left.
Yeah. It all happened after you left, so probably not. And they're all
but
gone
like
now.
just in real life, I mean, like I had to go.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, I didn't want to say that you were going to eat it unless you were here. That's right. Sorry, it's been a week.
that's
So,
okay.
since you said you did not eat them, but you did see them. Would you like to roll a medicine check to see if you can discern what type of mushroom it is?
Sure. Interesting.
What'd you get?
Okay, not bad. 16.
Okay, it is a crackle-dun mushroom. It is known for growing out of a very specific type of beetle's dung out in the wilderness that decays incredibly quickly, so it looks like it's planted directly in the ground. However, it does grow specifically out of that. The interesting aspect about it is the beetle's natural defense is it has a hallucinogen inside of its body that it secretes. So if any creature eats it, any predator tries eating it, they will trip balls to the point where other predators will kill them. So they've learned over a long period of time not to eat it.
Gotcha. Well,
Very rare, by the way. Very rare.
is there any left?
No, I
We
think
ate 'em all.
of it.
Well, I hope you all had fun. Shall we?
I got a new pet apparently.
Can you
Yes, sir.
give me like 5 minutes to go wash up?
As you're heading up towards the door slams open loudly. Oh, N, how are you? Your father's standing right there.
Great. We're
I've gathered up all of the supplies for you all.
wonderful.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, you have a lovely set of transportation, 2 horses on loan. By the way, you are going to be transporting a large amount of mistletoe out there, okay?
Okay.
You have an incredibly large crate full of it right now. They just need it for some type of festival purposes. I didn't ask that many questions, but it seemed to align with you heading out there, so you are technically the protectors of the product. So please be mindful of that. You are representing your family right now, so
Of course.
keep that in mind.
Speaking of, I'm gonna go get cleaned up real quick, and then we're gonna be getting everything together. So I will be right back down.
You look like you went down a whorehouse the hard way.
That's what I think happened. I don't know.
Sounds fantastic. Enjoy yourself. Take care. Gives you a little kiss on the
Thanks.
cheek and looks out front to everybody
Thanks,
else.
Father.
Hello.
I might
Um,
want to clean up.
Go right ahead.
Yeah,
Covered in dirt. Just
there's-
covered in.
Yeah, everyone's welcome anytime. Come on in, and it'll show them where all the like bathrooms and tubs and wash stations and all that are.
Do I feel like Buddy the Elf in the North Pole with all the like small utilities?
You're not that freakishly large, and they
Okay,
are
thank God.
elven, so yeah, you're only
Thank
you're only noticeably larger than most people. You're not like Goliath size.
Yeah. Okay, thank God.
So
When I go inside, does Beefcake follow me?
you've picked Beefcake for its name. Yes, it
Yes.
attempts to.
We've got a pet.
Apparently, it's going to be keeping me warm at night. It's going to be interesting when Gable is working.
Oh God,
Just
no.
Just behind the pillow with two beady eyes.
Horrified.
About what time of day is it?
I'm gonna say it's probably closer to midday, noonish, around that point.
All right. Well, when did we want to leave? Now? In just a little bit? Just after everyone rests or washes up?
And like pokes their head out from the hallway, be like, we can leave as soon as I'm done. It just be another minute.
All right. He just goes back to his book.
Oh, I could sit in this bath for days. Just through the door.
So after about an hour goes by, you're all bathed, redressed, slightly uncomfortable with the clothes that N has picked out for some of you. However, your old clothes mysteriously are all in the fireplace. I don't understand why, but...
These were ritual vestments.
What is Gabriel dressed in?
And what is Gabriel dressed in?
Would have just picked up Gabriel like a nice like fur coat that like has some nice trim on it. Inn knows not to like push their luck with that.
Good idea.
But there is it tucked into one of the pockets like a really fancy hair tie. Like just tucked into one.
Thank you.
And then there's now a belt serving as a collar on Beefcake.
BK seems slightly uncomfortable, but accepts it.
Oh,
So,
God.
you all
Yeah,
showered, you all gathered yourselves up, and waiting for you right out front is your new business cart, as it were. It's a nice place with a decent canopy to sleep underneath at night. It can house most of you, however, somebody's going to have to sleep up front in the seat to usher the horses at night, just because a couple of the party members are a bit larger than the other ones. I will remind you all that you are in the middle of a winter inside of a very cold mountainous territory.
Inn packs a few blankets extra.
When Gabriel's alone, he pulls the collar off of Beefcake and pats him. Sorry, boy. I know those aren't fun. You don't have to wear it.
So,
And Inn is in their new armor, so it's like, and actually looks really comfortable in it, which is like would be kind of a surprise to everybody else.
So, as you all head out there, and your father is waiting for you all, and looks around the party and goes, "Who's going to be handling the horses? Do any of you have any skills in this area, or?"
Oh, God, no.
Ronan, you can turn into the beast.
Yeah, I mean, I could give it my best shot. I'll say that horses and I don't really share the same, politic type views, but I think we can do it.
I'm sorry, was that a pun? Did you say politics?
Yeah.
Oh, marvelous. That's great. All right. Up you go, and he helps you sit up in it, and it's kind of uncomfortable. I don't think you've ever sat in the lead of a cart or a wagon before.
Nope.
It seems really, really uncomfortable, but he hands you the large leather straps that connect to either of the horse, as both of them are just, sitting there munching on a couple of random fruits, just enjoying themselves. All right, everybody
And
else.
father
pack
is
up.
going to use that pun now.
Yes, of course.
All right, I'll be next to the driver. Get a view.
I'll lay in the back.
Very well. Well, all of you, be sure to enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there, and if anything happens to my darling N, I will hold each of you personally accountable and pursue you at the maximum extent of the law.
I'm going under my own accord.
Oh, of
They're
course you
fine.
are. I'm just making a pointed fact.
Sure.
We'll protect her, sir.
Them.
Don't worry.
Them.
Them. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's
been a
alright.
while.
It's good.
I'm trying.
Yes. As long as there's effort, that's all we ask.
Yep.
So,
Them.
you all gather up,
Thanks, them.
sitting onto the cart, and start heading east outside of Umbridge, going through the large town and taking note of the still recovering state that it is, compared to the 7 nights ago when you were all dealing with the work you had been dealt with. It's much slower. There's only a handful of people walking around town. The number of buildings seem almost vacant at this point. It's eerie and uncomfortable by comparison. And Gabriel, Rowan, you're all very used to this. It's only super inhabited by people when people come out for large-scale events that get hosted here. After that, the population dwindles down to a measly couple of hundred at best. And that surrounds the territory and the farmland as well. You continue your way through until you make it to the front gates, which are immediately opened up for you at the wall and ushers you out. The two of you taking the lead, please roll me a perception check. Alright, that is a 6, so no, and a dirty 20. Rowan, there's an individual sitting outside the gates, currently talking with one of the guards. The guard seems to have a little bit of tension in their posture and sitting with their hand on the hilt of a blade, positioned a good 5 feet away from the individual as well, not wanting to be too close. This person is very short, maybe only 3 feet tall at most. Slightly hunched over, with a large staff in their one hand. It's a perfectly cylindrical wooden pole that seems engraved and glossed over in a very shiny texture and substance. The robes that they're wearing that encompasses their entire body and face appear to be black. They just stand out here as you're going past.
All right, Rowan kind of calls out to the guard. She says, "Oi!
What?
Everything good here, or what's going on?"
Looks back down at the individual and goes, "Everything's fine. Please continue about your business."
Rowan just kind of shrugs and gives the horses a little whoosh.
Alright, roll me an animal handling. Let's see how well you can handle these animals. Yeah, the horses clearly don't like you very much.
Oh my god.
You whoosh, and they
Oh, no.
start on a very slow, very tedious trot. You're moving way slower than you would be walking right now.
All right, I give him another little yeah.
All right, you whoosh again, and the one lifts its tail in your direction. Let me roll
All
the
right,
hit.
I kind of look back at everyone and say, "I'm sure it'll be fine. They're just a little tired."
Does
And I
a
give it
13
another-
hit you?
Uh,
Your AC is 13. So, as you mush again, and it raises its tail, it produces a large spray of its fecal matter in your direction. Which
Can I dodge
splats. It rolled to hit, and it hit 13.
okay.
So it just sprays the front of you.
Maybe I should try. I seem to have a way with animals. Let's
Oh
look at
god, what is
report.
that smell?
But we're just getting to know each other. That's all. But Rowan kind of scoots over and makes room for Gabriel.
What'd you say, Solaris?
The horses are a little bit abrasive.
I didn't know animals shit on each other to get to know one another.
It's unique to this area.
Uh-huh.
And kind of like trying to like scoot past everyone, like holds up like a blanket, like here, we'll wash this later.
Thanks, Zen.
So Gabriel, you
You're
take the
welcome.
lead now. Go ahead, roll your animal handling.
Oh boy.
See if they like. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yay.
as soon as you sit up there and like you kind of like mesh a little bit, and they glare back at you the same way. But then the boar
Yes.
and just start kicking off.
Thank you, Beefcake.
It just nuzzles against your side.
Aren't I on the horse or on the wagon or something?
Oh yeah, you're on top of the wagon, but like there's a little canopy in the back of it where you can communicate with the people back there. The beefcake just like leaps up in that little gap, spreading its front legs and back legs.
Okay. Our group mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say, as soon as we start this adventure, Solaris just casts mage armor on himself.
Already.
Lasts for 8 hours. So.
You expecting something to happen, Solaris?
No, I just like to be prepared.
Speaking
That's
of
all.
something that happened, Kothar, who did you go see?
We talked about this. I went to...
I know, but who?
I don't know, there's a man and a woman.
What color hair did they have? I'm friends with most of them.
I don't recall. I honestly don't.
What? I'm sorry. This is the brothel conversation.
Yes.
Gabriel should know everyone there.
So Gabriel just leans forward and starts going, was it Monique? Was it Tandra? Was it Chandra? Was it Monica? And just goes down the entire line
Mambo
of
five.
every single person who works there. And Kothar, you don't know. You didn't ask. You just
I didn't really ask for names.
you
I just
pointed and then
What color hair do they have? What size breasts do they have?
I don't remember, honestly.
you know the one had no breasts.
Oh, yeah, the male. I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Honestly, it's not very memorable.
Oh, then I might have an idea of who it was then.
Just an umbrage thing, I guess.
Okay. I'll quit teasing.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's a natural thing. You shouldn't tease anyone about it. It's the oldest job in the world.
Here.
I mean, I don't do it, but
Hey, there's people who sell and people who buy.
yeah.
Hey, do they tax the income from that?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Why do you think umbrage is so fortified?
It's Gabriel all on his own.
Yeah, they tax it.
How do you two know them? These people there?
I work there.
Oh God! Like
That's
you're
how-
the bouncer?
No.
Well, I mean, I'm usually the go-to guy with problems, but I'm also one of the prostitutes.
Yeah, that's how we met. So, like, and that's how I know a lot of the others.
And you
as well.
hired Gabriel?
Yeah. It was during the summer. There was no one here. And he's good at what he does, okay?
Oh, okay. I don't want to hear this. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Oh my god.
I barely know you two. I'm trying to process you as friends. Now I'm thinking. Okay, all right, it's fine.
It's
Well,
alright,
This isn't
Kothar.
gonna make the adventure an issue, is it?
No.
You can't be a friend with a prostitute.
No, I don't care about that.
What do
No.
you care about then?
But I don't travel with them on adventuring groups, the ones I've been with.
You
We're-
haven't been with.
Gabriel and I are friends.
That's completely fine.
And I guess you won't be with me then.
Not my type.
Ow, shots fired.
Ow.
Rowan's just like petting Beefcake.
Solaris is just kind of looking up and this.
That was very smart of you, Gabriel, to bring something to possibly eat. Fresh is always better than.
Yeah, being on the menu is off the menu now. I like beef cake.
Oh, I thought you were referring to yourself. I'm sorry.
What was the original question?
Never mind. Don't worry about it, Gabriel. It's fine. Just keep driving.
So,
No, it just that yeah, I had figured that things would come out about all of that, but no, it just it's not anything that's going to affect anybody else. Don't worry about it. We're friends, and I think we all can be friends anyway, so it works for me.
Known each other for a week. We wouldn't expect everything to come out.
You'd be surprised. Traveling kind of does that.
Yes, things. Yeah, I would agree.
Nothing to do all day long in the back of a wagon. Just all you have to do is talk. Yeah, things come out.
first 10
Really
minutes
random.
on the road.
Yeah.
We're using the terms "things come out" in a very general term that could be
Yeah.
used in multiple references.
Are
Like
we
the
still
horse.
doing phrasing?
Yeah, phrasing,
Yeah, phrasing.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm.
Sorry.
You
Sorry.
didn't figure that out already?
Fine. But anyways, how long is this gonna take? I have an idea on our maps that we have,
Oh
So,
yeah,
so,
who has the Harry
which we
Potter
have
map?
the two maps. We have the Harry Potter map and then a regular map.
Harry Potter map.
What?
Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, the
Oh.
Half-Blood Prince map.
With all the notes and stuff on it.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Or we hope it's the Half-Blood Prince map. It could be like a really
Like
crappy
stick
version of it.
figures.
So, as a point of order, Rowan, you would understand this territory very well, as this is where you spend the vast majority of your time. This is the Guild Hilt Forest, the eastern forest outside of Umbridge. Now, let me type that out for you.
Hopefully she knows better than mushrooms.
Hey.
It is the Guild Hilt Forest. Now, the interesting thing about this forest is there's all manners of beasts and wildlife that live out inside of this territory. Not just the ones that would be more indigenous to forest and to the mountainsides, but more ones that might be commonly found underground, hidden away from the naked eye and from the majority of people. It's a very treacherous forest. However, there is a very simply drawn out path for people to travel upon. Highwaymen are very common in this territory, given that the primary place for anybody to travel to inside of this territory would be Umbridge for selling goods and other required items. Sometimes less than desirable, of course. However, one good defense against the highwaymen is to look like you have nothing on your person. Look like you have nothing that's worth stealing or risking a life for.
And needs to be hiding in the back then.
Well, good thing Gabriel, who's wearing a very ostentatious large fur coat, and Solaris, who is a high elf, are sitting up front in a cart labeled with the name of a company.
So I tell him all that.
Now, interestingly enough, the main roads are the only places where highwaymen really camp out. It's far too dangerous out in the forest for them to find themselves, most of the time, feeling well protected. Rowan, you know the forest very well. You know how to travel through it, traverse all across it, navigate it very, very intuitively. This is your homeland. This is where you belong. So, it is your choice how you would like to all travel.
All right. So I explain that to everybody, and then I say, look, I know the first time I tried to lead everyone through the forest to the spooky, creepy house. Took a little bit of a mishap there, and I know the mushrooms weren't great, but those were outlying incidents, and I feel like if we took the more, rugged trail, I mean, I don't think we'll come out perfect, but I think we'll be just fine.
So what are our options? The main road or
Back roads.
Right, the scenic route.
Ah, yes. Distance still about the same? Potentially?
Roughly.
Roughly.
So this is away from Umbridge, right?
Yeah, you're leaving Umbridge heading east.
I'm sorry, away from east. Okay, so away
Yes.
from Willow.
This is the way. This
Yeah.
is the way.
Yeah,
You are following the way.
I say
Do you know the way?
to the druid who hopefully knows the route better than other things.
And besides, there's no way to hide that we are carrying goods. So my vote is away from the main road.
That's my vote too.
just by the way, Solaris has Thule just kind of like fly above us, like 100 feet, just kind of like
Sure. Circle.
fly above us. Keep an eye out.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Cable looks down at Beefcake. Can you fly?
Just looks at you.
It snorts and blinks.
No. So, yeah, that's my vote. It's almost certain that we'll run into someone on the main road, and probably not friendly. I would much rather take a back road.
So there is another way that we can fit a cart through.
Rowan, yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it might slow us down a bit, but I mean,
Can I inside Rowan see if she's BSing us or?
Rowan, first roll a survival check. See if you know of a reasonable route to traverse through.
Okay. God.
There should be a route.
I've heard there's one.
You're very used to traveling by yourself.
Okay. I'm feeling the pressure.
And the smell.
Yeah, God, the smell.
we are supposed to deliver these goods, but was there a time frame?
I mean, here's the thing. If the cart gets damaged, we'd be on off-road and probably easier to destroy the cart in that regard.
Well, I can fix things if things go a little wrong. Nothing terribly wrong, but I do know how to mend things. Magically. Not hands-on, but magically.
Okay.
I mean, but how many highwaymen are we talking here? Like, how many? When they work together, how many are there usually? I mean,
Let's
if
see.
they just see Gabriel in that very fine coat and Solaris, I mean, they might
They
drop their
don't
guard
know.
a bit. And...
Unless you want to sit up
Yeah,
front,
they don't-
Kothar.
No, I do not want to sit up front. Quite comfortable back here.
I mean, we are capable, but it is unpredictable.
Oh, I just mean the fact that they would, at first glance, may not take you too seriously in a physical altercation.
Right. So
Let's-
that
Which
you're
would
saying that
drop
we
their
could get a
guard.
jump on them that way?
Yes. Yeah. Be like, oh no, please don't check the goods. And then Rowan is just like a freaking bear in the back and just like bites their face and pulls them in.
Yeah, a bear covered in poop.
Yeah, I mean, a bear covered in feces is terrifying.
It is.
There's only one thing worse than a bear, and that's
2 bears.
a bear covered in shit. So
Bear covered in feces.
Let's take the main routes. It seems like the back road is questionable, and I'd rather deal with any highwaymen than
Or-
get stuck in the
I
middle
think
of
if we're
nowhere.
prepared,
Or we
think if
say
we're-
the only.
Go ahead, Solaris.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think if we're prepared, I don't think we might have too much trouble, but I could go either way.
Or we say the only goods we're traveling with are Gabriel
And beefcake.
and Beefcake. Yes, he's a very famous, entertainer, and
Or
he's traveling. Please, yeah, better name than that.
Oh, this
Well,
is gonna be.
this-
Companion.
Escort.
besides,
Gable rolls his eyes.
And
Besides,
Solaris
if someone
is-
opens up the back and there's a dragonborn and a tiefling, I think just the fact that we exist and are both here is frightening enough.
could be like
I think we
chained
might
up in the
get
back.
that.
I didn't bring my manacles, so
Well.
So main road it is.
Alrighty. Whoever's taking the lead, please roll me a survival check. As it's not terribly hard to navigate this road, there are specific intersections that you need to be sure that you don't miss. The DC is not terribly high. Gabriel, you are following the map to a T, knowing exactly which roads lead more northern and knowing that you don't want to go that way. You start keeping east on all of the trekking and movement. Now, Solaris, have your familiar roll a perception check. It does have advantage.
Okay. Do I? Yes. Perception.
8. It is
Oh,
keeping
wow.
a watch out for you. Very well. So, as you're all passing through, the road is very windy. It's very steep at specific intervals, and you sometimes feel like you're about to lose track of it if it wasn't for Gabriel reading the map so precisely. The snow is covering every aspect of this area and coats everything. You're very loud moving through here, listening to the constant crunch of the wheels pushing against them and further past. This section of the forest is primarily pine trees, very large, very prickly, and adds a level of density that makes peering through it a bit difficult most of the time. You do see that directly off the road, there are many different divots already built for people to set up camp in the evening if they're traveling. It's very common for roads to have these in this era, so it's nothing to be terribly concerned about.
and would have their crossbow just kind of sitting in their lap.
All right. The first day goes by. Evening rolls around, and you've all been traveling for about 8 hours so far. Rowan, you would know that you don't push horses further past 8 hours of movement unless you expect to put them down after you really run them too hard. So, whatever you would want to do with that information.
I think we should give the horses a rest. Just, so we can keep them with us the whole journey.
Yeah, we're meant to return them, so I think that's a great idea.
Now, there's many of these divots, many of these little alcoves that you can set up, where the trees give you a nice little respite from the pushing and whirling winds that every now and again you feel that kind of get magnified by tunneling through the mountains range in your direction.
We're able to use this cart to sleep in, possibly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
We'll
Okay.
find a spot to pull up the horses and cut them loose.
One person will have to sleep up front.
Yes.
I'll sleep in front.
Alrighty. So,
Very well.
And Ann will take 2 blankets out and put one over each horse to keep them warm.
easy enough.
Rowan goes out and climbs a tree, and that's where she sleeps.
Right? Roll me a survival check, Rowan.
Oh, God.
Eventually, you'll roll better than a 3. Hey, a 5! Alright, you find a tree. I mean, you're still getting a little bit of wind, but this is nothing to you, really. You have to
Rowan,
just
are you
cuddle into your big fur jacket a bit more.
Rowan, are you sure you want to sleep up there?
Yeah, it's fine. I do it all the time.
Okay, because, I mean, just naturally I put off a lot of heat. So does Kothar, so there's no need for a fire or anything. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be...
The weather's a little, on the warm side for me right now.
The warm side?
Yeah, I've always liked the cold weather, so...
Alright, well,
Could you say the cold never bothered you anyway?
One might say that, and that one might be me.
well, okay, well, as long as you're comfortable.
So,
Will anyone be keeping watch?
that's what I was getting to.
I'll take first watch.
If I can meditate for 4 hours, I can keep watch the rest of the night.
Are we doing watches alone or together?
I think together would probably
Yes.
make sense.
Yeah. 2 each time.
Okay.
Alright. So what's going to be the resting arrangement? Gabriel already volunteered first. Who wants to pair up with him?
Does Beefcake count?
No.
No, Beefcake does not.
BK is going to be inside of the cart, cuddled up directly in between N and Kothar, using them as human space eaters.
Is it bad if Kothar is slowly moving in his sleep the beefcake to his mouth to eat him?
BKs will snort on you.
Oh, Jesus. That snoots. I'll take it with Gabriel if no one wants to. Yeah.
Already. That's first watch covered. Watches are typically in 2-hour shifts, and you need about 4 of them for everybody to get their full night's rest easy. So who wants to take second watch?
Rowan can.
That'll be Rowan and N for second watch?
Yeah.
And then that'll leave just Solaris with your familiar for third and fourth watch.
All right.
Is this going to be the consistent sleeping arrangement for the rest of the journey?
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I mean, I would think the 2 major fighters should be on different watches, and
Yeah, that's fine. I can be in a different watch. That's fine.
Yeah, we can switch if the group wants to split it.
So the 2 humans on the first watch, and then the 2 redheads on the second watch.
sounds good.
Well, no, it almost makes sense to split us up though, because we could be space eaters while everyone else, one of us could be heating the wagon and then for half and then the other.
That's true.
Pretty smart.
It's completely up to all of you. I'm the one who just dictates consequence.
I'll go with Rowan.
Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go with Rowan.
So it'll be N and Gabriel on first watch, Rowan and Kothar on second, Solaris and his familiar for third and fourth. Very good.
Parchment boulder shears, Rowan? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. So, first watch is arriving. Everyone else is nestling in and beginning their sleep. Solaris, do you sit, lay, kneel when you are trancing?
He usually just kind of sits in a meditation position.
You sit in the back of the cart very comfortably, very easily. And the two of you outside are... Actually, come to think of it, with two of them outside keeping watch, Solaris and Kothar, you got plenty of room back there. It's great. Just a tiny
spread
wild
out.
boar.
Just spread out.
So, Anne and Gabriel,
Mm-hmm.
you begin your first watch. I need a perception check from each of you.
Perception.
Alrighty. The evening progresses very easily. The whipping, whirling winds persist in this area and kind of whistle through the canopy, providing you a nice, comforting sensation. Can somebody mute themselves, please? You can hear everything. I'll just go down the list. There we go. So, the whistling of the wind is starting to make the area feel much more calm and peaceful than usual. And you're kind of engrossed with whatever minor project you're interested in right at this very second that you'll probably get bored with in 30 minutes and pick up a different one. Or maybe like 30 days. But during your watch, other than listening to the loud howls of a pack of wolves that seem to be somewhere within this mountain range, nothing else transpires for the two of you. You wake up Kothar and Rowan. Rowan being a bit harder to wake up considering she's all the way up in a tree. But you manage to get there. A couple of rocks thrown and you get her attention.
And we'll shake their tambourine at her.
Everybody
Someone,
wakes up then.
starts awake.
But yes. The two of you are now taking up your watches, Rowan having to climb down to better, more reasonably keep an eye out on the situation. And in Gabriel, you both fall asleep very easily, very comfortably in the back of the cart. The two of you, please roll me a perception check. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So, as the two of you are resting very easily, keeping an eye and an ear on the whistling winds, Rowan, you hear the pack of dogs, the wolves, coming into the territory. 3 normal, 1 dire. The dire wolf seems to be the leader of all of them. Makes sense. They're hungry, and they're hunting. They're communicating across the range. You can pick up the inconsistent howls and how they echo through the area, that they're keeping in contact with each other, trying to find and discover any food in this area as best they can. Kothar, you also notice, alongside Rowan, that 2 of these wolves come slowly creeping out of the woods. About 40 feet away, just eyeing your small little campsite up, seeming to have picked up your scent along the wind.
I'm grabbing my axe and just mentioning to kind of like tap Rowan with my other hand and just kind of point in the direction of the wolves.
Can I utilize speak with animals spell?
Sure. You cast it on yourself.
Yeah. I'm just gonna try to say hey to the wolf closest to us and see if it responds at all.
One moment, please. I need to be sure of one aspect with the Speak with Animal spell. Alright, so go ahead, talk to them.
Hey, wolf. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What are you doing out tonight?
Hunting.
Have you found anything good?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Seems to be looking at Kothar a bit suspiciously. You look at him as well, and he is a very large chunk of meat for animals.
I look back at the wolf and say, "Oh, you don't want him. Really tough. I mean, really grizzly. A lot of fat. He bites back.
We ate a grizzly last week. It's delicious.
Yeah, not that type of grizzly. I'm thinking more stuck in between your fangs, grizzly."
They look him up and down again, and back at you. Why do you walk with them?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm still asking myself that a little bit, but for the most part, they're good people. They're powerful. I mean, they protect me. So, mostly that's why.
Roll a persuasion.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You can't handle animals unless you talk to them.
That's right.
They kind of like move a little bit forward, very cautiously, keeping their heads down and giving a wider berth from Kothar towards you, Rowan. And you know how to handle these animals. You feel a kinship with them. Very slow moving, you open up your palm directly towards them. One of them sniffs it a couple of times. Looks back over at Kothar, then back at you. Do you have any meat then?
I wish we did. I'm pretty hungry myself. We don't. But I will say I did see a really slow moving fawn heading that way, and I like point over to the, far right, motioning them away from us. I would have gone after it myself, but I had to, watch this guy, and I like gesture to Kothar next to me.
Kothar, roll insight.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
At all.
You just hear very.
It's like the wild thornberries.
Yeah. I mean,
12.
Rowan seems to be communicating with them, and they seem to be intelligent enough to understand and reciprocate the communication.
Have I heard the big one at all with that perception I rolled?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
The fawn. We haven't smelled any around here. There was another group of people, though. They didn't have a big wheeled thing like you do. A moving cave.
When did you see them?
A little bit ago.
How many of them were there?
4. We might just go eat them instead. They had large weapons too, though.
Did they seem threatening?
They looked like they were hunting. But they were hunting the road, not the forest.
They were hunting they were headed somewhere?
They were hunting on the road.
Oh, I see. Did they catch anything?
Not that I know of.
How many of you are there?
5.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like it's really great chances, and I feel like maybe you guys should, give those guys a try.
Yeah. Thank you. It
Thank
licks your hand, looks over at you, Kothar, like, it takes 2 short strides towards you, and just bops its head against your fist. Then they both leave.
What was that?
Don't panic. They were
Don't
just
panic.
Yeah, I told them you tasted like shit, basically, and you were full of just really grizzly, crappy meat. So, like,
You called me fat?
no,
Fat's delicious.
Okay, I know I've been laying around for a long time, but
well, I mean, there's the good sumptuous fat, right? And then there's like the grizzled. I've been through a lot,
so I'm the crappy kind of fat.
But you have so much character. I mean, that's the point to take away.
Did they go away at least?
Yeah. They walked away.
It's, oh no, I'm asking her that.
Yeah, they headed off in that direction. There's some other game they're going after.
Some other game, like other animals?
I can't remember. The guy was mumbling a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's strange though. They seem very nice. Like, almost like you'd want to make them a pet, or a companion, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, one that would really suck to have when they're hungry. But I mean, they're cute.
I just keep them fed.
Yeah. Well,
They could do a lot of damage on a front line, actually.
That's true. Yeah, I think that Beefcake probably appreciates that we didn't keep them though.
Oh, we could have given a beefcake.
I'm surprised you didn't think of that.
I thought of it, and then I got, nervous because Gabriel's a beefcake too.
Fair enough.
So they're gonna go after some other game. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Well, that was very clever of you. I guess we didn't have to just, cut them in half, and maybe we would have had wolf to eat for a while, but that's fine.
Yeah, that would be a little awkward for me to eat, but I
You're not
think
really a wolf.
That's true.
Maybe if you ate it, you get more essence of a wolf in you.
Maybe. What if I ate it while I was a wolf?
Would that be cannibalism?
I think it would be.
Something we need to test.
Maybe. Or maybe put that on the back burner.
Yeah, we got time.
So, the remaining 2 hours go by. You do hear the muffled footsteps, both of you, of a much larger predatorial beast come by. Within about 10 minutes, a little bit less than. It steps up to the forest line, and you see it as it stands with its 4 paws on the ground, looking damn near eye height with you, Rowan, when you're standing. The deep yellow eyes piercing through the trees. And it just stares at the two of you.
Can you talk to that one?
I could try.
It nods at the two of you, and then goes in the other direction where the first two had headed off to. Now?
Well done, Rowan. And he just gives puts a large fist towards Rowan.
I put my little human fist out and bump it.
You definitely stretch 3 of his fingers.
Do you do any needlepoint, Kothar?
It was kind of hard for me to get a lot of free time in between things, but I did try it once. I pretty much broke it immediately. Not very dexterous.
I have a sewing kit. I could give you lessons sometime, but it's pretty cheap, so if you break it, it's not a problem.
I'd like to try some new things now and then. I feel like I might have some more free time compared to others. The past times.
Yeah, and then if you got someone back home, family, friends, whatever, you can make them nice little needlepoint presents.
I'm sure if I had someone that'd be nice to do that for.
You don't have anyone? Any friends or family or?
No, not that I know of, really.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
But
you make family with the people you journey with,
That's right. Yeah, maybe you and Beefcake can become close.
Who, Gabriel or the pig?
Well, I mean, that's your choice.
Yeah. I don't know, he doesn't seem he's very protective and kind of shies away from the group sometimes. You think he likes to watch from afar.
Yeah, I think he I don't know a lot about him, certainly not as much as N does, but I think he's got a lot of life experience.
Baggage.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but that's the sense I get from him.
Yeah, maybe there's some things that have happened to him in the past. I've seen people like him before, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I certainly don't have a lot of experience with people, but I think you're on the nose there.
Where did you weren't around a lot of people where you were raised?
No, not really. I spent most of my life in the woods, although, I mean, I know my perception of mushrooms wouldn't really show it, but...
But you hit the showing it with the animals, that was well done. Did you raise yourself out in the woods?
In a sense, I suppose, yeah, kind of. I mean, I learned a lot of my own, basically. What about you?
I grew up in a very large building with people it was like an old, decrepit, ancient kind of castle thing that's where I was raised. We kind of called home. A lot of people not like me. So, I mean, they weren't family. But they didn't treat me like family either. But yeah. Do you have somebody you can, crochet something for?
There is a bunny that I'm very fond of that I run into.
A bunny?
Yes, it's white. It's very fluffy. It has like a little there's like a splotch on its back. It almost looks like a snowflake, but I see it quite often. Sometimes it lets me pick it up. But that's about it.
It's quite sad, actually.
Well, it's a very good listener.
I am sure when you have it in your grasp, it'll listen to anything.
Yeah, right. Whether it's a willing listener, I'm sure, is another question.
This is true. Interesting. How old are you, Rowan?
25-ish.
Oh, okay.
Not the best with math.
That's alright.
How old are you?
Quite old. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. It's to remember everything, but age is a relative term. I haven't seen much, but I feel like I've been able to live a long time.
Your home, where you said you grew up, is that very far from here?
Yes, it's a bit a ways away. I don't think it's even there still anymore.
Oh.
I haven't called it home for a very long time. But, yeah. Anyways, I think our ship's getting to an end soon.
Yeah, we should probably wake Solaris up.
Seems like he's He doesn't actually sleep, is what it seems like.
I think it's like a trance. Is there
Yeah.
a certain protocol we have to take to get him out of the trance?
Now, I think he can kind of hear us outside of that if he chooses to.
Solaris, you're hearing this
Just-
whole conversation.
Rowan gives like 2 quick claps to see if it wakes him up.
Yes.
It's your turn.
All right. And it comes back. Summons Thule, and I pick a good spot to keep an eye out in the forest.
Hey, Solaris, there might be some wolves out here. Just letting you know.
Anything interesting happen?
Rowan,
Nothing too crazy. Some wolves came by. You know, they went on their way, found different different area to kind of snoop around.
All right.
she talked to them. They licked her hand. It was pretty cool.
You talked to them. What did they say?
You know, they were just hunting, kind of looking for game.
She called me fat.
I called them grizzly.
All right. Interesting.
You don't have an opinion on fat versus grizzly, Solaris?
Oh, sorry. I'm still coming up with my trance a little bit. I prefer when I do eat meat. I prefer to have a bit of fat, but not very grizzly.
It's like pulling at the side near his ribs.
You're less than 1% body fat, yes.
Son of a bitch.
Rowan pats Kothar on the back and then slowly makes her way back to her tree.
Good night, you two.
Mhm. Yes. Enjoy your watch. Climbs into the cart. Is there any room for me?
Oh yeah, definitely. Since one person is not in there, you can fit in there no problem. And also, Rowan is sleeping in a tree, so you fit in there no problem.
Okay.
So, Solaris, you take over for your watch now. Look around and...
Sorry, I just wanted to say I send Thule just kind of into a tree just to sit there and help me keep watch.
Alrighty. Then why don't the two of you roll a perception check? Thule has advantage on theirs. 10 for you. 22 for Thule. Much better. While you're relaxing for the last 4 hours, you're also the last person on shift, which means it's your responsibility to start setting up food for everybody when they wake up. Is the unfortunate aspect of being last. However, it does give you a good 4 hours of silence for you to read, relax, and if you would like, sure.
So, In would hear the shift change and wake up a little bit and realize that it's Solaris sets up and get up and go talk with him.
Oh. Hello, Anne.
Hi. Oh, excuse me. I wanted to apologize earlier if anything I said made you uncomfortable.
What do you mean?
About mine and Gabe's history.
No, it's quite all right. I understand how people meet in interesting ways. I don't judge.
Well, I appreciate that, and I tend to be very blunt about a lot of things, especially those things of those nature. So if I ever do say anything that might be too much, just tell me.
Of course. But to be honest, I kind of like the direct of this.
Well, then let me be direct. That first morning, I noticed a particular look that you were giving me. And I come with a few warning labels. So I wanted to tell you those before you became any more interested.
I understand. Yes, no, I found that you looked quite dashing in that outfit.
Thank
I
you.
am someone who has a delicate eye for things that are aesthetically pleasing. I try to be myself. It's part of the elven culture in a nutshell.
Of course. You see who I grew up with, so
Absolutely.
so
Your father is quite charming.
I take a lot after him.
I can see.
Yes.
How did a tiefling come to live with elves?
My mother.
Mentioned briefly.
Yes. Father's never really spoken about her much. And I don't even know if she was a tiefling or another elf who had a tiefling background. But he didn't even know that I was born until I was delivered on the front steps in a basket.
Well,
But, things have worked out well. Got a good family, and I've been pretty happy where I'm at. So,
do you ever wonder?
of course. But with things as good as they've been, there's really been no reason other than just curiosity. And
Fine. Curious.
you do seem the type to be about most things.
Sometimes it gets me into trouble.
I like trouble. But to avoid a little bit of it, so the reason I've asked everyone to use they and them when they're talking about me is that I feel that I'm both male and female, but my body does not quite reflect that. And I don't know if you have a particular preference, but it's something I'd like to at least have some input on.
Let me say it this way. It's your reality. I don't mind at all. It's something that's a new concept for me, but it doesn't seem too far-fetched.
Well, thank you.
We all have male and feminine.
Yes, it's just I don't want things to get too far before, and then there be a surprise. And as End keeps going, you kind of can tell that there's something that they're holding back on.
Mm. Is there something else?
I should tell you a story that kind of brings some clarity to things. And not even Gabriel knows about this one. I'm sure if he did, he'd march right through town and break a few bones, but I picked up a job as a dancer, and there's a certain expectation if you're wearing a dress, what you are, and an assumption was made. And the man who made it got violent. And the healer said it was touch and go for a while. So it's why I'm a little cautious about it with someone who I don't know their preferences for.
Of course. I'm sorry that happened.
Well, it was a lesson, but it hasn't stopped me from being who I am.
Good. Keep doing that.
Thanks. And thanks for being so accommodating.
I try. You're welcome. And I look forward to getting to know you better.
I agree. And I'll get up, lean over, and just give him a real quick kiss on the cheek and go back into the wagon and go back to sleep.
So, Solaris, as you sit there, more distracted by the conversation that you just had than you would prefer to be, eventually, Sylv comes over and gets you to snap out of your trance-like state. You look around suspiciously as it's trying to get your attention on the local area, and then you hear it. Echoing through the trees and the mountains, the cries of a few men being attacked. Sounds bestial and large. Numerous even. However, the echo does not approach closer. You set up breakfast cautiously, making sure that your familiar keeps an even more dutiful eye out from the directions that the echoes were bouncing in. Then morning rolls around, and sleeps in just a little bit longer than everybody else. Kothar, Rowan, Gabriel, all waking up, feeling refreshed and with the smell of freshly prepared gruel, with a few dried vegetables and fruits thrown in there for some flavor.
Sorry for breakfast. It's all we had. Lead up, everybody. We have a long journey ahead of us.
Could really go for that coffee ends Father made.
Yes, I would too.
Anything happen on your watch?
Yes, the sounds of people being attacked by beasts. Like, look at Rowan for a second.
Rowan
No
just
many-
grabs. Sorry, what'd you say, Solaris?
Do you know what might have happened?
I mean, I suspect perhaps the wolves, but can't say for sure.
Well,
At least it wasn't us.
That's a very good point.
certainly. What I want to know is who won. And I kind of call Thule over, and I just whisper to him to, like, in the direction of the noises,
Right.
and just kind of like report back to me whenever he can what he might see over in that direction.
So,
I know take a
have Thule make another perception check. Remember your advantage. I know I sound like a broken record, but the perk of the familiar is the only perk it has, so... 15.
and I have
Yeah. 15. Around the time that you're all cleaning up after breakfast, Kothar has already had his third helping. Gabriel is working towards his third one. Thule communicates back to you telepathically. You see the imagery of a small little cave. Not terribly far from where you are, maybe a quarter mile at most. Inside the cave, it is lined with a few broken down carts, several different bags belonging to different variable people, several large crates with labels discerned from all over the entire continent, and a large pile of blood, a few loose limbs and bones, and wolf tracks walking away.
I think I know who might have won the battle last night. I think our wolf friends may have cleared a path for us, so to speak. We should still be on our guard, though.
3 highwaymen versus a dire wolf and 3 other wolves. Yeah.
If you all would like, there seems to be a pretty large cache of loot that these highwaymen might have stolen, is what I'm assuming. It might be a small detour, but there's loot.
Do we know they were highwaymen?
From what I can tell, there's lots of different crates and boxes and carts from all different sorts of companies from all over the place. So that's my assumption.
Can
I'm not
Thule, Solaris, was Thule able to tell how many highwaymen there were?
Was he? No.
The perception check wasn't quite that good. It was good enough to find the area, which was a DC 15 to find, but, well, 14 to find, but...
So he saw blood and some bones, wolf tracks walking away, but no number.
it would be worth investigating.
I certainly think so. We've had a few shipments go missing, and I wonder if that's where they are.
Just let me finish my food.
Of course. I need to eat as well.
So I could take it to go though.
So, you all venture off the road, leaving this small encampment with the horses and with your boar companion who can overlook it as well. The boar seems to not like the forest very much. Doesn't seem to want to go out there at all. However, you're all taking up your arms just to be more careful, and Kothar walking out holding a wooden bowl and feeding forage into his mouth. It takes you about 15 minutes or so to finally get over to the location, and luckily you're able to keep communication with your owl to make sure that it's an easy enough route. Being mindful to keep your owl watching the cart as well. You get a little closer and you have difficulty finding it. Seems like it's a very well hidden location. The canopy of trees mark it from the sky, and the area of mountain kind of hides it from view from a perpendicular view towards it. However, as you all approach, the stench of decay and blood reeks through this area. Only a little bit of decay. It has not been terribly long, and luckily the cold nature of this environment makes it so the stench is bearable. As you approach closer, there's several bones and little bits of flesh lying around, and as I've just described it, all manners of crates and different wheeled land vehicles in this area. And you do recognize a couple of the crates belonging to different companies your father represents.
Oh, well, looks like we found them.
Or at least part of them. Shoves another mouthful in.
And In is like immediately taken to work, like trying to see what all is in there.
So, roll an investigation then. Ooh, that's a dirty natural 20.
It's natural, yeah.
Yeah, not smart.
No
smart.
modifier.
Have you noticed every investigation you've rolled so far has been really good? Just saying.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to minus that eventually. But anyways.
Hey, I don't have a modifier on it, so...
I can't, yeah, it's still, yeah. Natural but dirty. That's sin. That was sin. Thank you, sin. As you begin looking through all of them, and you end up having to steal somebody's crowbar. Gabriel, you definitely have a crowbar. I know that. I don't know if anybody else does. But you start ripping them open and peering inside. Interestingly enough, it seems like everything that was immensely valuable from these crates have already been looted and sold someplace else, where you don't know, but they seem to be gone. However, there does appear to be different sections of dried rations, a small little chest that it has a simple lock on the outside of it, currently unlocked though, and when you open it, there's a small litter of copper and silver in here, a few pieces of gold flaking around it as well. And then you decide to lean away from the actual product and go over towards the sleeping rolls, where the individuals probably rested up in this area. You start pulling the sleeping rolls out and flipping some of the pillows, and you notice a small little book.
I'm gonna open that book.
All right. You open it up. It's written in common, disgusting handwriting from people who clearly have not received a proper education. However, it appears to be a inventory checklist. Items that are being sold, transported, and, found, gathered, trying to find different buyers for them. Interestingly enough, there appears to be a large assortment of gems that apparently were getting shipped to Umbridge as a waypoint going all the way to Weldon Top that appear to have been sold off to somebody with the initials GG. Additionally, there's 2 items of interest that they're just or 3 items of interest. They're just labeled simply with what they appear as and the quality of the items. One is a very large glaive with a golden handle, a golden tipped blade itself, and a silver rod going all the way down to a golden pommel at the end. Apparently, they sold it for 2,500 gold to the same buyer, GG. And then there's 2 swords, short swords. One of them drawn down and marked to have a white blade, the other one drawn down and marked to have a blue blade. It has a bunch of other scribbling and gibberish around it, and apparently they sold each one of these swords for 1,500. Interestingly enough, it does have a shipment location. The location it was shipped to was... one second, looking at this. Balthask Wilds by the Hooked Lakes, the location you are all currently headed towards.
Interesting.
Now, aside from that, there's about 20 days worth of rations, a large barrel of water, which you already have yours, but if you want to take more, you're more than welcome to it. And basic survival gear, as well as pittance and climbing gear. If any of you care to take any of it. Also, dull, very shitty, unkept weapons.
I think some climbing gear might be useful.
Certainly.
There's 2 climbing harnesses. Do you take them both?
Yes.
Ready?
In picks up the chest that has the lock on it. Is there a key with it, or is it just the lock?
There's an unlocked lock on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no key to that lock, though.
Not that your investigation yielded, unfortunately.
Damn, 0 modifier. If anyone else is interested, we could keep party funds here. Not party as in my father's kind of party, but party as in like the group funds. So that we can get stuff for as a group.
Yes, in this chest, you mean?
Yes, of course. And I cannot pick a lock to save my life, but we don't have to keep it locked if it's between all of us.
Sounds good to me.
So,
I'm gonna grab the pittance.
all right. Did I already give you all a party loot handout?
Nope.
Alrighty, let me do this then. Party loot. All players can see, all players can edit. There's your handout, everybody. Now,
Wait, so did we find any like gold or anything? Did I miss anything?
there was a
like
few
that?
pieces of gold in the chest, mostly copper and silver, though. So, looking at the chest, there's a total of 36 copper, 22 silver, and 4 pieces of gold. However, and because of your very high investigation, that ledger tells you that somewhere someone has a lot more gold than that. Just from them selling the product. The 2 short swords have not been confirmed sold yet, but the other items have been.
So the swords were in transit?
Presumably.
Okay.
logically speaking, whatever you want to justify, feel free.
Well, seems like it's going to the same area. Maybe we can keep an eye out. The white and blue swords sound interesting.
White and blue swords.
Orthor, roll me a history.
An interesting color. $14.
Can I see if I know anything?
Solaris, you would not have the opportunity.
Okay.
Sounds suspiciously familiar. You understand what to.
Uh-huh. It's a strange color pattern for two short swords, but
Agreed.
new times.
Intriguing. Seem different.
Gold doesn't really seem very like a good blade, but what am I to say since it sold for 2,500 gold?
Could be ornamental.
Could be magic.
Could be.
But I
Well.
think we should get back to the cart.
Yes.
Certainly.
Should keep an eye.
So, you all head back to the cart, decide to start your journey yet again, and I am going to make a few more rolls to see if you have any encounters, but in the meantime, let's all take a 10-minute breather, alright? Everybody,
All
don't
right.
go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Sweet.
Hey, everybody, we're back! Sorry about the hold up there. I was busy stuffing my face because I like what to eat dinner sometimes. I know, it's unfathomable. Dungeon Masters have to eat too. Who would have thought? But anyways. Get my throat situated real quick. Yeah, that's better. Alright, cool.
That is the most interesting way to describe drinking water.
What? Get my throat situated.
Get my throat situated.
Listen, none of you have ever done voice acting, I can tell. Alright? It's a thing, I assure you. But anyways.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah. You found a little bit of loot that, luckily, you did not have to encounter these people, thanks to Rowan's incredible use of roleplay with good old boys, because we all like the good old boys. They're such good boys. And instead utilize them to kill the enemies for you. The best boys. You found a little bit of loot, a little journal / ledger with many different objects that have been sold by this group of highwaymen in the past. And you shared the information with everybody. Who's holding on to that ledger, by the way? Or are you just leaving it there?
I figured we'd put it in the chest.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Now, it is a simple chest. It's made out of an iron shell with mostly wooden sections and square surfaces surrounding it. Slightly hooked top lid that anchors and wheezes when you open it very loudly with that. But it's reasonable to hold on to things that you want to share and divvy up at later points whenever you would like. As a note, players, if you haven't played in one of my games before, the way the party loot works, one person edits it at a time. Get verbal confirmation before you take anything from it from the rest of the party. Or written confirmation works fine. So pretty much nobody just takes it, it's ask for it. And yeah. It is for the whole party. You gathered up everything and you continued along your way. Hey, thanks, Sin, I am a thick boy. More C's though, more C's. Thank you. You all continue on your journey. The road has been very smooth, very easy. You travel for 2, 3, 4 more days, and you haven't had a single encounter. The perks of the incredibly cold climate is, it's very difficult for anybody to want to pursue people out here. You have to be a very set up individual to do that. And the animals and beasts of this land mostly are hibernating or trying to hunt something that might be slowing its pace despite the weather. Now you are finding that you have to tend to the horses a bit more because of the frigid climate and the cold, and you have to take rests more often, but after 3 full days of travel, you finally break out of this section of the forest, noticing that the soft crunch of snow is slowly starting to break and become the consistent crunches of the gravel instead. Yeah, it crunches still. Still works. Should have used a different word. You keep pushing through, and the tree line opens up much more vast, slowly fading from evergreen trees into large, hulking maple trees. Much thicker but wider kept, making it easier to peer through the area. After a day of traveling like this, you no longer feel the frigid climate, but it's starting to become much warmer where you are, to the point where your cloaks, for some of you, are becoming a bit much. Gabriel, Solaris, you still need them. However,
Shirt's coming off.
Soon. A 4th days of travel ends, and you swear you can smell seawater, which is odd, very peculiar, because you are landlocked in the dead center of this continent. Now, Rowan, you are familiar with these Great Lakes. The top one is situated in a place that's very odd. It has tunnel systems that lead and track all the way across this plane of existence into the vast open oceans around. Some believe that it drains into the ocean and gets replenished by the tears of lost maidens and people who have lost their lovers who have journeyed out on a voyage. Others believe that it just filters through one side and goes out to the other, very carefully. It's not uncommon, it smells like seawater very often, despite the fact that you are so far away from any beaches. You continue your travel until you see a small cart filled with wheat and a few various vegetables, corn, stuff like that. The one wheel seems to have been snapped on one of the prongs, broken, and there's a bit of a youthful, middle-aged man tending to it. As you all begin heading directly in his direction, he stops, smiling up at Gabriel and Solaris, who are still on the lead. Excuse me, did any of you happen to bring any tools on your journey? I've been stuck out here for hours.
What's going on? And like pops her head out. Like, what
Holy
do you need help with?
fuck,
Don't trust him, it's a trap.
Nothing, we're fine. I'm fine, thank you. Everything's good.
I could fix that wheel in just a moment. Really, and like inputs their hands up, just like, look, I know what I am.
Can I do it
Just wanna
inside
help.
him?
Yeah, feel free, Gabriel. What'd you roll?
9.
Okay. Seems shifty. Kind of hard to read.
Well, we can help. Let's pull over. Don't
He takes
worry.
2 steps back. I really don't want any trouble here.
Do you want help or not?
What happened to your wheel?
There was a large obstruction in the middle of the road. Somebody must have dropped a piece of lumber. Points back, and you see it's a large piece of lumber, well-cut wood, that seems to be broken in half, and his wheel has a break in it as well.
Gabriel keeps an eye out for any issues around.
Roll a perception check. Yeah, I've been trying to jack the thing up a little bit, and it's a very calm, peaceful day, Gabriel. I'm having issues finding a support to put it on to get the wheel more fixated back on.
Well, and In just like walks around, but gives him enough space to feel comfortable because they've been through this before. Well, at least as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, he seems incredibly uncomfortable, but more suspiciously uncomfortable.
Gable keeps an eye out to the surrounding area for any attackers while also listening in on how he's treating In.
11 perception. It's a beautiful day.
Do I need to get out of the cart?
Who's that? He looks even more scared.
No. You can stay in there.
And
Okay.
In's like finagling the wheel, and all they need to do is really get it like the 2 points together.
Someone will have to lift it back up to fit it onto the axle to do that. And I mean, he's looking at you and goes, I don't want to lift it, and I'm not going to owe you anything, right? I can give you a little bit of coin, but I don't want any deals.
Just your soul.
No, just. Would you mind trading a few of the fresh vegetables you have?
Can Gabriel looks at, can he lift it? I'll try to lift it.
Gabriel, what's your strength modifier?
Strength 2.
Yeah, you can lift it pretty easily. Yeah. You both go over and lift it up, and he goes, I can give you a small little basket of them, sure.
Yeah, and puts the wheel back together and then uses mending around.
So the two of you are standing there for a minute, holding up the cart on one side, and slowly starts feeling the material and coaxing it into realigning itself, fixing up, and he's watching it very oddly. He goes, tools would. Oh wow, okay. Usually a hammer will. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gable's still keeping an eye out while holding it.
Yeah.
Rowan's whispering a play-by-play to Kothar in the back of the wagon.
And after the minute goes by, the wheel is perfectly fixed, readjusted, reset. You both let it down, and it takes the pressure of the wheel very well, and he kind of grabs either end of it and pulls and pushes and pulls. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He goes to the back and pulls out a small woven basket and throws in a handful of raw corn and some wheat. This is more or less what I'm selling. Hands the basket over to Solaris.
Yeah, no worries. And we've been on the road a little bit, so fresh food is like really exciting. So,
where are you all coming from?
From Umbridge.
Umbridge? In this time of year? It's a tundra out there.
We have business.
Well, I have to say, I thank you very much. If I couldn't take all of this to the market, they'd. I'm not sure if we'd be able to fend for ourselves for the next night or so. So I thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm just gonna grabs the cart and starts leading down the road.
Yeah, take care, and like hops back into the.
Look at the basket.
With the basket.
I could have helped lift the cart.
It's alright, Kovar. We just didn't want to startle the men too much.
Yeah, and scared him enough. We didn't want to add to the problems, and I was able to lift it.
I am not that intimidating. I am short.
Stay in the cart, Kothar.
So you can imagine how you would react to Kothar then.
Yes.
You act like Dragonborns aren't seen or something.
They're not common.
I've actually seen more tieflings than I have Dragonborn, and not including myself in that count.
Good distinction.
Did he get back on his way at least?
Yes, we helped him out. He's heading to market.
He's heading the exact same direction you all are.
I'm sure we'll see him again.
We should just ride along with him.
Let's get going.
All right. So, it's your choice. With horses pulling your caravan, you could bypass him easily and just, excuse us and keep going. Or you could trot more slowly and let him have a wider berth ahead of all of you, if you wish. Or trot beside.
Should we, you
I
guys?
say we just go right past.
We could.
Right past.
And when we go past them, let's like look at them and rev the horses and try to race.
Well, his 2 legs are definitely going to lose to your 8.
Unless Rowan's driving.
True. But anyways, you quickly get past and he, nods his head, just carrying the cart and walking along the way. He hesitates for a moment as he looks in the back of it and he sees
I
Kothar.
stick my head out.
He just stops in his tracks and just stares.
Have a good day.
You seem to have stunned him.
Maybe it was best I stayed in the cart.
Attack with disadvantage.
You can take the lead next time, Kothar. How about that?
Okay. I think it'll help my people skills, Get to know this.
Sit up here.
Get to know the people of this area.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Kothar.
Now, you travel on for about half a day. And then you notice the road seems to slowly stop. You are moving more onto direct dirt than a graveled path etched out. And it's more drawn out from people pursuing past it on their own caravans as you are moving. Now, the trees have all grown into much taller figures looming over top of you. And you're starting to smell the smell of water much more freely. And then you begin hearing it. The slight crashing of waves against some shoreline, not terribly far. For some of you, it's been most of your life since you've heard something like this. For one of you in particular, you've never heard this before. You've never been near a large body of water like this. You continue along your path. And then, Kothar. You begin to become more aware of your surrounding. You feel something in your chest. Burns slightly.
Okay. Is my chest like glowing or anything, or is it just like an indigestion maybe?
It kind of feels like heartburn, but as a red dragonborn, you're immune to heartburn.
Yeah, it seems so. I'm gonna look outside the cart. I guess. Just peek my head out, see.
You look out, and for the first time in weeks, you see solid dirt roads as they should be. You hear the water, the beautiful cresting of it on the shoreline, and you notice some territory markings. Large symbols for different groups and clans. Where you come from, they're called the wildlings. Tribes people that live outside the construct of well, modern technology. People who fend for themselves and defend their neighbor that also defends themselves.
Do I recognize which group this falls under?
Roll me a history. It was at this level he knew he wanted to take proficiency in history.
I feel like I rolled a lot of history. 17.
Well, that's what happens when you have a historic character.
That's true. Yeah.
This tribe belongs to the wilds of Kelshan. Kelshan is a title belonging to the individual who oversees the clan and protects them directly from combat. The interesting thing about all the different tribes is that they do not war with each other. They don't believe in war. They believe that you should only fight to survive for yourself, but you should not fight to harm others. Instead, the leaders would always have to fight in combat to deal with any disputes between the different tribes. The wilds of Kelshan are one of the more traditional tribes. A bit more easily aggressed, but they were known for their distaste towards civilized folk, as they refer to themselves. As you are looking around, you see but 30 feet ahead of you a large Goliath with red and blazoned skin, black tribal markings leaving 3 hooks along their face and down their chin, where there's a massive scar that stretches from the very center of their chin down their actual throat. They have a wide open shirt showing a grisly, large body. Not a weightlifter build, but large and physical for purpose instead of aesthetic. Behind them, there's another 4 of these Goliaths, all slightly smaller, all with different markings and tribal aesthetics to them, just waiting directly in your path, as this one is holding a large staff in his hands.
Hey. Gabriel, stop the cart.
Up.
Okay.
Hello?
What are all you doing coming through this territory?
Slars, be careful how you talk to them.
We are delivering goods to the Belfast Wilds.
Spits on the ground about 3 feet away from him. Then why aren't you on the shoreline? Are you more hunters? Raiders?
Traders. Protectors of goods. Sellers.
The one in the lead starts walking pointedly towards you, and as he begins approaching, most of you have heard about Goliaths. Only 2 of you have ever seen one in person, Kothar and Rowan. They dwarf all of you. As he comes walking over, he looks you eye to eye as you're sitting on top of your cart with the horses, and begins walking around to the back.
And Ian is opening up the crate with mistletoe as they're coming around.
Kind of lifts the staff in and opens up the cart, looking in the back.
This is what we are trading.
Sorry. He looks at it, begins rifling through, and then stops and looks directly at Kothar. You don't belong with them.
I don't think any of us really belong together, but we are together.
Step
Now
out.
we're just making it work. Oh, shit. Steps out.
He's not looking at you. He's staring at the cart and everybody else inside, motioning for the other individuals to come trotting up.
Oh, so he wants me to stay in the cart?
No, he wants you out of the cart.
Okay, I'm getting out of the cart.
He stares at everybody else inside.
There a problem?
We don't
Fine,
like
Solaris.
raiders around here.
It's fine, Solaris.
Too many of our kind stolen. And when his voice booms like that, you feel your cart almost pushes back reactively.
I don't
Dawn puts her
know
hands
you.
up and gets out.
He grabs onto the back of your neck, Kothar, and squeezes and rubs it. They won't have you.
No, I think you have the wrong idea. My friend.
Looks
If-
at you
if I-
questioningly.
They aren't taking me anywhere. Well, it's not like that at all. We're working together. Just taking some goods for trade. We
He's
do
off
not
to
wish
If-
we do not wish any ill will on the people of Kelshan.
He looks you up and down. Very caught off guard by you using that name, Kothar. And then speaks to you in Draconic.
Oh, okay.
You mean they did not take you?
No. Do you really think they could?
They've been doing it recently.
Taking your people?
All of the tribe's people.
Ooh.
Finding the weak ones, the sick, isolating them. If anybody else here understands Draconic, you are hearing this.
Solaris does.
They have not taken you. You protect your hide. He just pushes the quarterstaff against your chest, very bonding moment, not really attacking you, just, getting your attention.
The pat. Yeah. No,
Watch it. Don't trust them.
These ones I believe are trustworthy.
He looks back inside. Looks questioningly at Rowan and N. But then has that same look of hatred towards Solaris and Gabriel.
Back in Draconic, I say, who's taking your people?
The raiders. They come in from the mountain. They find us. And they steal the weak.
And it's been happening to all of the tribes.
Numerous have already talked to us. Already had one commune about it.
All of the
Now,
tribes came together.
Of course. He looks at you oddly after that statement. Been together for hundreds of years. Ever
Right.
since everyone else tried taking what was ours.
No one here is trying to take anything that is yours. We respect your ways. I did not know we need to be on the shallows, but if you would like us to move down there, we can.
He takes another step towards the cart, and back in common. You. All of you. This wildling tells me that you're different from them. The rest of the place that you reek of. Well, prove it.
How?
Our children have been stolen by them. In a
You
month,
said that.
we are setting up an attack. We will pillage what is in front of us and search for our kind. Anything in our path will die.
Oh shit.
We are many. We are far stronger than your weak status allows you to be.
What if we could find your people?
Find them. You bring them back to us. Or if you tell us who it is taking them, I'm not picky. You'll spare your villages death. He stops and looks at you again, Kothar, and kind of like recoils his neck uncomfortably. They know you. Points at you again, Kothar.
Who knows me? The Raiders?
The Lockheed. Kothar, wait. Rowan, roll me a history, Rowan. Kothar, you will know what that word means.
Okay. Okay.
5 history. The word sounds familiar. It has a druidic nature to it, but it's far older than what you speak. They know you. The little ones. The little ones. They knew them too.
Which little ones?
Small little things, littlings.
Looked alike?
Yeah.
They were here.
Yeah, they came through.
Where did they go?
They were heading to the port. They said there was people there that needed help.
That makes sense.
They were with a big guy. Well, big for just everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Dark clothes, big stick.
Doesn't sound like anyone I know.
Wait. Rowan kind of looks around at everyone else. Didn't we see a guy dressed in mostly black, kind of hunched over, pretty short when we left town on the first day, talking to that guard?
Person they were with was big.
Are you all still located in the same place? You and the Lockheed?
We stay buried there, yes.
So if we were to come talk to them...
You walk first. They would die.
Okay. None of them could come with.
They can walk behind you.
Okay.
But if we see them first, we attack.
So
it's not my rule, it's the tribe.
You see the big red guy. Don't kill them. Okay. But yeah, still in the same spot? Yeah?
He nods.
Okay.
Takes 2 steps back from the cart. Remember the deal.
Yes, in a month.
He nods.
Do you have any idea where they... You know what? You probably don't know since you said you're going to go and pillage everything, so you probably have no idea where the location is. That's completely fine. We'll
diviners can't find it.
Well, that's good enough information right there. Tell them I say hello.
He nods at you and grabs towards your forearm.
Yep, I'll do the.
He looks at the markings on your arm and then smiles. May the Crystal One love you. Clasped over top of your hand.
Yeah, the Crystal One.
They all give you a much wider berth, allow you to go about your business, telling you the proper route to go as to not incur their wrath or any of the other tribes.
I'm taking the basket that N got from that guy and offering it to them.
They graciously accept it.
Sorry, N.
Oh, it's good. It's all good.
Wow.
And whew.
And you say that you needed help with your people skills. I think you're doing just fine.
They thought I was somebody else, you know?
You're a bad liar, Gotha.
What? Ah.
All right.
You know, they I maybe I just speak easily to them, you know? I don't know.
They called
similar
you a wildling.
Huh?
They called you a wildling.
Well, yeah, look how I'm dressed, you know? No shirt on, some pants.
You don't know what a bank is.
I don't know what a bank is. Pretty wild.
Right. Oh, tell me why this is helping your case, Gotha.
That's how I like to dress, you know? Just a fashion sense. Comfortable. You know how hard it is to get into, you know how expensive armor would be for me if I had to wear it? It's a lot of material. But I think we should help them.
Yes.
I agree.
If it's not just, you know, saving children, it's also saving the lives of probably innocent people from being viciously murdered and a bunch of other things that go with pillaging. So, yeah.
Agreed.
They said that they come down from the mountains and steal their children. Does that mean who can they be referring to?
I don't know. It sounds like a horror story that you tell your kids at night. You know, don't stay out past dark or they'll come from the mountains and steal you away.
DM, would I know about any route through the mountains? Like, would I have traveled that way?
Survival or history, your call. I know your survival is better, but your history checks consistently roll high, so.
I know.
Sure call.
I'm like, Well, neither one of them have a modifier, so
yeah,
we'll go history. Nope, wrong.
No idea.
No clue.
Would I have gone like traipsing through there?
Roll me a survival for you, because I'm not even going to offer the history.
Everyone cross your fingers.
Pretty good.
Hey!
Dirty 20. That one's an actual dirty 20 this time, Sin. There's one more town that leads into the mountains, and it's a busy thoroughfare, but it's only militant. General produce cannot be passed through. General shipments can't come through there. Only military. However, the small outpost outside of it is a common area. It's referred to as, it is called the Thicket in the Ledge. It's right underneath a very high ridge inside of the mountain range, and it has a tunnel that leads up into the mountains in a position where they can head directly to Weldon Top. That would be the only other place that people could travel through without risking incurring the wrath of wyverns, basilisks, abominations, rocks don't live in the cold. Rocks live in the warm.
Oh.
But close. But all other manner of things that are, by your expert opinion, are classified as fuck nopes. Yeah, yetis, things like that.
Oh, nice.
I tell the whole group what you just told me.
All right.
I feel like we should get to the Hook Town, and maybe we can gather some information there. They are, a town within all of this area, so information probably flow through there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Get a
agree.
little bit more information on these stories.
Certainly, and then once we...
I don't want to warn anyone of what's coming, though, possibly. Not yet, at least. I feel like they may try and attack the people.
That
in the
is
wilds.
true. Umbridge... how do I
Umbridge is
put
safe.
this?
That's a far journey.
Well, how do I put this nicely? Hell, they haven't always been nice, so let me just put it plainly. Umbridge tends to be a little biased towards people who don't live or work with the town. There's a little bit of a hate-hate relationship with the tribespeople outside. So I definitely agree about keeping this quiet until we can't, because it absolutely could cause conflict.
But this will be a good.
We could maybe speak to someone of authority in the lake town. What is it called? Did we learn the name of it?
I have it written down. I just need to go
No.
back.
Sorry, me too. Balthask.
Yeah, Balth.
The
Well, that's
Balthask
the forest.
Yeah,
Wilds.
Balthask.
Yeah, the Balthask Wilds is the area. Balthask Port is what you're looking for.
Oh,
Yeah.
Balthazar Fort.
Yes.
Maybe
and,
there's someone there who is provides some information.
yeah, I mean, I know of people there. Haven't necessarily met them myself, but
Does anyone know how they take to points at himself and N?
I think they're more likely to judge you on your character.
Yes.
Right. Just
Bal-
like that man in the cart.
Maybe he was a transplant.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
maybe we could be looking for elves.
And whoever it was that rolled the investigation or history for it, you would know Portmaster Glade is the tribe representative for Kelshawn and Buoyance,
Oh, yeah.
the two tribes. He is also the lead authority inside of the port.
Mm-hmm.
He is known for being incredibly ruthless, and for beheading people.
Nice.
That's right, I remember that.
Yeah.
He'll like us.
He's
Can't
also
reverse that.
a half orc. So
Even
What was the
better.
name one more time?
if you look at the one handout called
In
Belfast
Belfast
Wilds,
Wilds.
yep.
Oh,
Courtmaster Glade, tribe's representative are Kelshawn and Voyants.
Well, now that I think about it, maybe it wouldn't be the best to talk to him. I'm not sure.
Well, we've already set up a trade. We can simply say we've
Wait,
heard a rumor or we've heard a story, and it's in our interest as well to assist. I think that's the easiest way to convince them that we're not trying to trick him.
if it is tribes that live there, some of them may try to pick fights with you. I highly suggest, Gabriel, don't fight with anyone.
Why do you think I'm going to fight everyone?
Gabriel, how many fights did you get into in Umbridge while we were there? Or breakup fights, should I say.
Roll a d6.
Who?
Gabriel.
Roll d6.
Only 5. In 7 days.
Only 5.
And one of the days you blacked out, so you don't know what happened. That's why it was only a 6.
Sorry.
Hey, we take it easy. We go in, we make our delivery.
Get a few drinks.
Yes, because that never leads to trouble.
I said a few, not a lot.
I suggest staying to ourselves as much as possible. We make our trade. We ask permission to seek.
We also need to ask about this GG person.
I don't think that the tribes people would know them. If anything,
Yes, but there's a Glade. What is his other name? Yeah.
Could be.
Half of the puzzle.
Yeah.
you're welcome to ask.
Now I just envision like you all trading the material, Kothar barging in going, "What's your last name?"
What is your given name, sir?
And then we also have a specific task for Garvin, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yes, our main reason for coming to this area was
We're
that
to find the other portal.
yes.
I may have some information on that. And the wildlings may have some as well.
Well, good.
Good. What's your information?
I may know some people that are heading towards the portal or are heading towards the portal. He's described 2 people that I may know.
Oh.
What would they be heading towards the portal for?
Protect it.
To keep it open?
No, like to guard it, to defend it. That was our job, their job.
Wait, is that the same group that I think we were talking about a bunch of smaller people dressed in dark colors with a larger person, right? Or individual?
I think it was one individual who is dressed in a lot of dark clothing with a large stick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who that is, but there are 2 smaller people that, when he described them, I felt like I might have known them.
How do you know?
work.
Got it.
Well, it
Yeah,
seems
you meet a lot of people, and you know, when you fight a lot. So
Right. So do you have any idea where to start, where to go, where this portal might be?
nope.
I think the first thing to start with is find
But
Glade,
mhm.
do our business so that we are forthright in our reason to come into the territory, and
I think possibly we can also help out the people. We may be able to talk to their leadership. They did say they'd kill you all if you showed up without me or before me. So, but if I go first, then they won't kill you. It's all good. They're very protective. That's one route we can go to.
I mean, I'm on board with that one.
Okay.
They got really wise old people in charge, you know.
so we'd speak to them about
After?
the disappearances, kidnappings.
Or where the location of the portal is.
Oh, the portal.
You know.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No.
Okay, that sounds good to me. We take care of the trade. We gather some information with you taking the lead. Literally.
I mean,
on
in
that
town,
one.
well, the ancestors, but the town, I'm sure you guys are fine to peruse and talk to whoever you like.
Rowan, it clicks. Oop. Uh-oh. Oop.
Previously on.
Shut up. I pushed the wrong button. I apologize, everybody. I pushed the wrong button. Rowan, it clicks. Lockheed means ancestors. He just said it. It's a druidic phrase that you're not used to using because it doesn't matter that much to you in particular, but it is something you are familiar with.
Okay.
It is a common path that a lot of wildlings and druids end up worshipping and understanding the process of ancestry, using that as their focus for their own power within themselves. It's a very common thing, where you draw your power from the moon and, you know, the shining of light on all those that hide in the dark. They draw upon it from the history and knowledge of those that came before them that strengthened them.
Okay. I keep that in my back pocket.
Alrighty.
I'm sure we're talking about this as we're riding in the cart.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, it's
Right.
only... What'd you say, Solaris?
Oh, I just said, all right, let's go on.
Deviating from your current path only puts you behind about half an hour or so, luckily. And at the end of this day, you finally make it to the outside of this port. There's no more trees in this area. Instead, you see that it's some very fine red sand. It's a bit of an odd look. Sand is not typically red out in this location. However, as you begin approaching closer, you do see it is a bazaar-like area. All manners of different carts and different tapestries have been set up for people to sell their goods right in the middle of the street. Only about 6 or 7 well-constructed buildings, and past that there's another 3 what looks to be official buildings inside of this little port side. You begin walking through, and all of you are attracting a little bit of attention towards yourselves, but it's more of a, who are these new people type of attention. You see all manners of different walks of life. There's a tiefling or two, there's halflings, there's gnomes, dwarves, humans. You see half-elves, which are a really odd breed nowadays. You notice that there's Goliaths, much smaller than the ones you saw out in the wilds. half-orcs, all of them ranging in size and manner and make. It's a very odd-looking menagerie for most of you. However, Kothar, for the longest time, you have not felt like you kind of fit in. Here you fit in. It's reminiscent of what you know.
Yeah.
As you are walking past, people are trying to sell/trade you for all manners of different fish that they've caught out on the water, trying to amp up the quality and the make of it. Can somebody mute themselves? I keep randomly hearing me when I talk. Okay, there it is. All right, better. It just randomly pops in. I'm a loud person. But yes. They're trying to overhype the product they have, but you notice that none of them seem to be just aiming for coins. Some of them are authentically interested in trade of different items and objects that you might have on your person, or things that you might have in your bag. They seem to be more of a practically living society of people. As you were bringing it through, you have to finally look inside that envelope to know exactly where you have to distribute the goods that you have. You are looking for a guards building for you to get these goods and bring it over to. The name of the individual, they are referred to as Guard Station Morningstar. Or Guard Keep, not Guard Station, that makes no sense. Guard Keep Morningstar is who you are looking for. However, none of you have ever been here before, so it's getting a little difficult for you to figure out where to go.
Should we possibly ask someone?
In's already walking towards someone and is like pulling like a scarf out of various pockets, and is already like bartering for a trade, and knowing full well the scarf is worth more than the basket of fish.
Yeah.
Asks for a favor also. We're looking for Guard Keep Morningstar.
Why? They look like taken aback and slightly scared when you say that name. Oh, looks up at you and I didn't mean any disrespect. I'll give you a few more fish if that's really what you need. The god, you're looking for the large stone building over there. They point, and it's a square building, barred windows, large metallic door on top of it, and a single sconce above, illuminating all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My family's done some trade here before, the Sayyids. If you...
Sayyid? Yeah, Sayyid?
Yes, that's my family's name.
Never heard of him.
Ah, well. If you've seen trade goods come through, that's been them.
Oh.
But here, and hands over the scarf and takes the fish.
Thank you. They just wrap it around their neck like twice, and just like they're eyeing you very like scared now, like authentically scared.
And trying to be as unintimidating as possible, but
they weren't taken aback by you initially. It's just all of a sudden.
I'm gonna hop out of the cart.
You start walking over.
Did you find the place?
Yes, it's right over here.
Are you looking for any fish, sir? Looks up at you, Kothar. Doesn't even bat an eye.
No, I'm alright. Thank you, though.
In wouldn't, as In's walking kind of like to lead over to where the place is, kind of makes a whisper of this Guard Keep Morningstar. Intimidating to the locals, so let's keep that in mind.
You continue pushing forward, and you wind through the city very easily. You wind through the small little outpost very easily. You make it over to the building, and you notice that out front of it, there is a large sign that says, "Do not disturb." It's a flip sign. The front side is currently showing, but when you lift it and look at the back, it also says, "Do not disturb."
Is the door unlocked?
Do you try it?
Yeah.
It
Seems
opens.
to be open. Should we go in? Yeah?
Should someone stay out with the cart?
Probably till we deliver it. Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay.
So, Rowan, you are not going in with them?
Correct. I will watch the cart with Beefcake.
Of course. Beefcake will be ever vigilant.
The
Thor will be with you as well.
4, right?
Yes. Or is going to
Yeah.
watch the cart with Rowan and
Hey,
Fool.
Solaris, Gabe, lose the fancy stuff.
Oh, all right.
Gabe,
Fur kind of robe.
Gabe
My
takes
normal
off the
garb
fancy
is
stuff.
So it's very fancy, Solaris. Compared to most
it
people.
takes in like a few minutes of like taking stuff off and putting it in their pocket.
So as you're all doing that and the door's slightly open, you hear from inside, "Who in the hell is letting a breeze into my building?"
Hello?
In walks in as well.
It's incredibly dark. The only form of illumination you all have is coming from a small fireplace about 20 feet away from you, where you notice that there is a desk situated right in front of it, and currently there is a laid-back, very fine leather-looking chair with an individual whose back is turned towards you, and feet are propped up on the mantle above the fireplace. They're currently holding a small book in front of their face.
The representatives from Syed and Umbridge. We bring goods for Guardkeep Morningstar.
Leave the goods out front.
Mm-hmm.
As you direct, and kind of like ushers everybody out.
You hear the chinging of coin and right back towards you, and you have to like quickly stop and catch it. There's the payment. Tell your father we're square.
I will relay the message.
Do you all
And-
need anything else?
No, our business is complete, thank you.
Then close the door on your way out.
Well then. Shut the door.
No.
Charming man.
Would you say, Solaris? You're kind of breaking up there.
Oh, sorry. I just said charming man.
Yeah, I could use some lessons from Kothar.
No,
Yeah, see, Kothar, you're not the worst.
maybe I should just talk like that. Really gets the job done.
N, roll me a perception check. The man's feet were inches away from the blazing fire, and you saw the slick back, fine black hair seem to be slightly greased or naturally oiled to slick it all the way back. And on the very tip of his forehead were two tiny horns, very small.
Oh God,
Took you long enough.
I was like, I know that last name.
And you are aware that this individual is a tiefling.
Mm.
Which may be why they were scared of you, because they thought you were probably closely associated with him.
Ah. Ugh.
However, his skin tone and color was incredibly pale. I'm saying Solaris has a tan level of pale. Or probably, well, I imagine Rowan probably actually does have a tan because, you know, wild, lives out in the wilderness.
I swear, I don't think I've ever met a tiefling that I actually like.
That's a rude statement.
Including yourself?
You
Wait, the outside
look,
In is outside.
Yeah.
In has already left.
and you look over at the door where the individual is walking out.
Ah,
A
shit.
very tall, breastplated, perfectly silver with black, very fine clothing underneath. Just currently tucking the book under his arm, standing about 6'9", 6'10". This large, beautiful looking man.
So In is gonna try and save that and be like, well, we never officially met. So
I was being standoffish for a reason. So, these are the goods that you all brought me. Goes and evaluates. I've been informed that I have to look at them a bit more closely before just accepting and throwing the money at you. My boss doesn't quite understand that if you would have stolen from me, you would have died, and I would have hunted you down to the ends of the world to ensure it.
That's
Just business, of course.
direct.
Starts walking around the card and lifts up the crate, looking at it. Kothar, you can't help but compare your biceps to his as he passes by you. Comparable. Well, everything seems to be in order.
we're a family of their word.
So I'm learning to believe. This is the first time your father's done any business with us, though. However, he comes highly recommended. I must congratulate him on that.
Why so much mistletoe?
I don't ask, I acquire.
Just gonna like throw it up in the air and like have a party or something, dance around in it.
They can shove it up their asses. I don't care.
I don't really
They
know what that would do
wanted-
for them.
And they paid an inflated price for it. Very simple. However, while all of you are in town, I was instructed by your father to ensure that you all are treated with hospitality.
Hospitality.
The Contour Inn, the finest inside of this shithole, has already been acquired. The suite on the first building will be yours.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't know why your father sent such a hefty price to ensure that you had that suite that was worth more than this delivery.
Just a dutiful father, I'm sure, for M.
Is there a bathhouse in it? Because that might be why.
There is.
Yep, that's what it is. It's a particular favorite of mine, so.
Now, if any of you need anything else while you're here, do not hesitate to ask. Your father has paid me handsomely to be sure that I am accommodated.
How good are you on information and its circulation?
If I can squeeze blood from a stone, I can squeeze information out of a rat.
Cryptic.
Squeeze blood from a stone?
I think it's metaphorical.
Sure.
Well, we could possibly use your information.
But no squeezing, please. It's simply asking.
Come by for a drink later.
Hmm.
We can talk over that, yeah?
As long as you're buying.
Well, we could use the money you just paid us.
Very
I'm
well.
just kidding.
Very well. And no more, Mr. Lucifer. It's just Lucifer, not Morningstar.
Very well.
Nice to meet you officially.
Well, Lucifon, I'm in. I'm sure you were given my full name, but I prefer in.
I was just given in.
Oh, surprising. My apologies. My father tends to be overly formal when it comes to things.
Your father was apparently told not to waste my time with over-exaggerated detail.
I see.
So, I will see you all soon. Turns back and starts leading the horses, petting them very gently, enjoying them. And when he turns his back to you, you all notice the incredibly large, hulking greatsword that's about the size of him on his back.
Damn.
Leads the horses out front, and you have a general direction that you can all head.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's find this inn then.
Would you call him Grizzly as well?
Yeah,
Rowan?
yeah, I will say though, I think you got a little more meat on you, but it's close.
God.
But at least Kothar, you have a pleasant aura around you. I feel like I need to just bathe for a
If
month.
any of you need anything,
That could be the
else,
days
You-
of travel, but yes.
I've traveled a lot. This is not travel. This is rude. This is what it is.
I don't know. There was something about Lucifon I liked.
Mm,
It could be
Maybe.
it could be the grizzledness. I don't know, but
if he didn't talk, if he just stood there and was pretty, that would be a difference. But there's
just be pretty. Just sit there and be pretty.
right. But no, just it's just not the way to handle business.
He's very straight up about it. But should we go to this inn?
yeah. Do you guys think there are going to be bats there?
He said yes, I believe.
Yes. It's a particular, like I said, it's a particular fondness that I have. So if there's one in town, that's where I go.
So, you all travel through town for a short period of time, no longer being held back by the large cart, but now you are all having to carry all of your armament and bags with you, so it's probably being a bit more tiring for those of you who aren't used to traveling all the time. You make it over towards the beachfront, where you see that one of those other well-constructed buildings is positioned directly beside. There is a hooked balcony that sits around the building, leaning out towards the ocean water itself and peering all around it. Leading up to the very front porch, you see that there is a simple-looking halfling just rocking back and forth. Very, very old, just nods at all of you as you pass by, chewing on a little piece of wheat. The front door opens, and looking inside, you see that there's a multitude of different individuals, all seeming to be engrossed in either deep discussion about political views and aspiring artists of this time, or with their noses stuck in a book. The lighting in here is perfect for reading and recreational activities of all assortments. It's a very hushed environment, and the barkeep looks over at each of you, wearing a fine-looking tuxedo and a bow tie, and smiles and goes, "Good evening. I am sorry to inform you that we're all filled up for the evening. We are at maximum capacity. If you're looking for room and board tomorrow, that may be able to be arranged.
We have a reservation for Syed.
Really? Very well. They smile and walk out towards you, taking the note that you have, showing who you are. I apologize about the inconvenience. This is the key. Allow me to show you to your suite upstairs. Hands the key directly to you, and begins walking in front. For everybody else, this is very standoffish, very posh. And, well, Solaris, I feel like you might almost be in your element here.
A little bit.
Lots of academics. You see people are going over simple entracings of magic on the table, going over basic teachings of cantrips to their children. There's a few elves in here, so that's pretty typical. Also, people reading different books about the theory of history and the progression of different planes colliding with this one, and the theory of the meaning behind the veil that protects this plane, and all of the other manners of just interesting little things. Yes, then?
As I'm handed the key, I just swap out a gold in that as part of as a tip.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, they lead you up the first set of stairs, where you see it as a large hallway where you notice the balconies would probably lead out to. There's about 6 rooms on the first floor, on the second floor. But as you walk past all of them, you see there's a little hook that leads up to a third floor. Leading up there is only one door, and the key is shown to open that up for you. Inside, you have the entire top level of this small little humble hovel home. It's a very large opening in the room. There's a simple coffee table with a couch and 2 chairs beside it. And on any sides of the wall, there are glass doors that separate into individual rooms. I was told to prepare 4 rooms in total, under the assumption that there would be individuals to share. However, if you do acquire more mattresses, be sure to ask. We would be more than happy to fetch that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bows and takes their leave.
Before you go,
Yes.
what is on? Do you have dinner prepared as well? Is that included?
Dinner can either be enjoyed down in the commons if you desire, or we can deliver it directly to you. Tonight's meal is an imported duck with roasted vegetables as potatoes, carrots, and green beans. We found a nice little assortment of corn being sold by a lowly farmer out in the market. Seemed to be high quality. We've taken the liberty of steaming and boiling that appropriately, and we plan on grilling that to serve along the side. Any mixture of Marlowe that you would like, I assure you we have down below. We also have some of the finest winery attached to Sauteron Fion, and the room that you have rented acquires you 1 bottle for your stay.
Where is
Make that 2, and double portion for this one, points to Gabriel, and triple for the red fellow.
Are you talking about the
Double's
wine?
fine.
Are you saying double the wine or the food?
Yes.
If you wish for us to double the wine, that'll be another 25 gold.
No.
I've got it. Yes, and the food also.
Very well. You hand him the 25 gold, I assume?
Yes.
All right.
Where's Beefcake doing all this?
Beefcake is currently being cuddled between your legs, looking around excitedly at everything.
And the guy doesn't object?
You paid a pretty penny. Well, N's father paid a pretty penny for this room. They don't
And
object.
I tip well.
You tip? Okay. It's 25 gold a bottle of wine.
So if somebody actually wanted to have a decent time here, what bar would they go to? Because I'm assuming it's a little quiet downstairs.
So I've got the one for free and then another. So that's 2.
2 bottles for your entire stay.
For tonight.
Okay.
We'll see.
If you would like, I can acquire some information from one of the urchins living around this area, and they can tell you the different places that you want to travel and see. Any particular hobbies in particular that you want us to be conscientious of?
I just mean where more of the rougher crowd hang out.
Oh, the Docks. It's the name of the tavern, and that is where it is based out of.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Would that be all?
That's all, thank you.
Is there anywhere in this port town that would sell books?
You might be able to find some randomly acquired in the bazaar, but I recommend that you be conscientious that some of the people like to take advantage of hopeful collectors and aspire to embellish the quality of the tomes that they have in their possession. However, we do have a magnitude of different collectors downstairs if you are interested in discussing with any of them. They should be able to trade information or trade tomes with you if you so desire. If you would like, they are going to be having a little book reading club tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, intriguing.
Right past high moon.
Sure.
Or high sun.
Also, where are the bats?
Bats. Did you say bats?
Bats.
Oh,
Bats.
excuse me. They walk over to the room, the first one, and open it up, and you see inside that there is a large marble flooring with a simple bed, mattress, and a little corner of the area sectioned out for people to sleep and slumber in, as well as a full oval bath set in the middle. When you need it to be drawn
Is it kind of like a jacuzzi size?
Each room has one. And it's made for one person to spread out or 2 people to not.
Ew.
Yeah.
Are these cleaned like regularly?
Every morning, once the occupants leave, we swiftly remove the water, scrub down every asset of the bath, if that is what you desire, and refill it with water at your leisure. We also have a fine little lining of different bath oils that can be assorted and thrown in. We have this phenomenal new gnomish contraption called a bath bomb. Despite its name, it does not actually explode. It just fills it with a nice material that cleanses and mineralizes the skin so it feels more smooth, and it's easier to take off calluses with.
Do you have any
calluses?
Do you have stables?
Stables?
You know, horse stables to store your horses?
Oh, yes, we do. I was told that you would not be bringing any... No matter, we can arrange for one of those set up for you. How many steeds do you have?
I was going to sleep there.
Well, very well. They struggle not to ask you why, but they
Why?
go, very well, very well. If you would like, we can set you up with a nice mattress down there, a nice comforter and blankets.
I got a blanket I'll throw over some hay bales.
Sorry if the rooms are not up to your standards, sir. I do apologize, and if you would like to leave a review for how we can further enhance your experience, we would be more than happy to.
It's okay. It's more comfortable for him.
The individual
All
looks
right.
nearly panicked and very confused.
It's okay.
It's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best.
Well, anything we can do to improve, be sure to let us know, and we would be more than happy to accommodate.
You've been wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. By the way, my name is Charles. If you need anything else, I'll be
Charles.
downstairs. They
Thank you, Charles.
bow and take their leave.
And there's another gold that ends up in their pocket.
Thank
Just
you.
as a please, thank you for dealing with us.
Yes. So, They leave you alone, and all of you look around at the large-scale rooms at your disposal.
Gabriel is a little bit stressed out and rubbing his neck, staying silent.
Why would you take the hay bales, Gabriel?
I just say I've had a lot of history in these type of rooms when I lived in Walden Top.
Weldon Top, but yes.
Weldon Top.
Well, if you'd like, you can go ahead and head down, and I can let you know when the food's here.
I'll be all right until we're actually sleeping. I would have a hard time sleeping.
And In walks over, and is there a bottle already in the room?
Oh, yes.
Okay. But I'm sure chilled.
Actually, heated.
Heated.
This bottle of wine in particular, sorry, I have an entire thing for this, one moment. This bottle of wine comes from the Basio family over in Selderon Fion. They are known for having some of the finest berries that grow inside of their vineyard in all of Solemn. Very high quality and highly desired. Most high-scale parties have it mandatory that the celebratory wine that everybody drinks be made from a Basio. However, as a point of order, their wine is typically best consumed when heated, as it makes the fruity flavor much more potent and active in the mouth.
So In just holds it for a few moments and like rolls the bottle in their hands and finds a glass and hands one to Gabriel.
Gabriel, this is it's wine.
She handed me a bottle. I'm sorry. They hand.
A glass.
I take a swig
a glass.
From the.
It's in the glass. Gabe, I know how you are. I can't on this one, okay? So here, just relax a little bit. Everything's all right.
Gabe grabs the glass, sniffs it, and downs it in one big gulp.
It's potent. It is good wine.
Anyone else want some?
I would like to try it.
Solaris, I would say you've probably had some celebrations where you've actually had this wine before.
Probably.
Maybe not this specific berry, but Basio.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he would know about that thing.
Mm-hmm. You have a very specific and well-defined palate, if you wish.
Rowan, would you like some wine?
Oh, no, thank you.
Kothar?
Huh?
Kothar?
I feel like I might break the glass. I don't.
Here, let me see. And In looks for a sturdier glass, even if it's not the appropriate one for the wine. Maybe a whiskey tumbler.
You find a water vase that'll probably be more reasonable for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything in here looks very fine and delicate.
Yeah. So In's instincts as a host have taken over the proper protocol for the wine, and so pours some for Kothar and hands him his improvised glass and makes a glass for themselves. Now, if I don't want to make any assumptions, Rowan, do you need direction on how to use the baths, or I can show you how they work?
Oh, that's okay. I've used the bath before.
Well, I mean, not implying that you've never. God, it's just.
Look.
Something as fancy as this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not anything against. This is very difficult.
How does the bath work?
Kothar, you found one filled with water.
Warm?
Enough.
Yeah, I just started taking clothes off and getting into the bath.
Right, you see Kothar just sits in the bath. It is warm. They have these nice little bottles right beside it as well, Kothar. All of them with these like fruity and citrusy labels. I mean, it might taste pretty good.
Oh, they have shots of juice next to the...
No, Kothar, that's bathing oil for your skin.
Try the grape one.
But I have skin on the inside of me, too.
Oh my God.
and just the glass is empty again. Rowan, I hope I didn't offend you. I'm sorry. I know that you've spent a lot of time outside, and it just...
Gabriel's just smiling, now kind of amused by the whole situation.
I'm gonna pour all the lotion bottles into the tub.
You are very quickly becoming invisible under the piles of bubbles that your eyes are barely sitting over top, almost like a crocodile peering through the swamp.
This bath is consuming me.
Kothar, blink twice if you're okay.
I don't feel okay.
The bibbles, the bubbles, the bibbles. The bubbles
Ian
start
had
like,
the wine.
the bubbles start like fizzing against parts of your skin. It's not uncomfortable. In fact, it kind of tickles a little bit.
It sneezes.
All right, everyone else in the rest of the room, give me a dex save.
No.
For real?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Rowan, as the other three are being uncomfortable and Gabriel is laughing, you see Kothar go, and as he's beginning to sneeze, you just step behind Gabriel and the bubbles fill the room and soak everybody else.
I was more worried about my breath weapon.
I'm gonna die.
Well,
Don't make a dragonborn sneeze. They have
Well-
strong breath.
so In just like starts taking down their hair, is just like defeated. Like, okay. But is laughing. It's like one of those like, okay, like just gonna drink some more wine, and like so they're like taking down their hair and like already soaked, so what is the issue? It's just continued, like walks to one of the other rooms, taking off their armor as they go.
Yeah, Gabriel just sighs and starts stripping down and gets into the bath too.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll follow suit.
All right, then.
There's only 4 baths.
Rowan sprints.
Oh.
Wait, is there one open?
Currently.
Oh, I thought there was only one.
No, there's only 4 baths.
Yeah,
There's
You
only
thought
4
you were
rooms.
getting into the same one.
No.
Oh, I thought there's enough room in the bath
Wait,
for
do
2
you think-
people.
Oh, there
have we
technically
chosen
is.
rooms yet?
Not comfortably. I mean, there's enough room for 1 Kothar in them. So 2 of anyone else.
There might be room, but I don't think.
Guess we've automatically decided on our rooms then, and
Oh, well, I don't want this room. I just got into the one that was filled. It's covered in bubbles now.
all right.
Solaris, I'll arm wrestle you for your room.
And no.
Damn.
I shove Kothar to the side of the bath and get in.
No.
It's very cramped.
Oh no.
Like Kothar, you're in the hold your legs mode while Gabriel is just bathing off.
It's just like a crocodile glare, just the eyes over the water.
I just love the thought of this happening, and then all of us in that room watch this happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the way the rooms are positioned, it's kind of like a ovular shape. So, like, you all, if you leave the doors open, see each other.
Yeah.
It's open.
But there are glass doors with like sheets, or little drapes around them, so you can easily just close it. Kothar just didn't.
Gabriel, watch for my tail, please.
Oh, it was. Is that what that was?
Yeah, In has just
I just thought you were happy to see me.
Kothar has started the particular culture of the room, so In's just following along with that as well. So,
Alright. So, everybody else gathers themselves, go into their baths, and start relaxing and feeling more comfortable given the environment. Well, sorry, 4/5 of you feel more comfortable given the environment. After you're all done bathing off, drying off, putting back on the clothes, or wearing some more fresh clothing that you had prepared beforehand, you all have a moment of respite before you hear a on your door.
one moment, and In will get up and.
I can get it. It's fine.
No,
In
it's all right.
towel around waist.
You've got.
Opens the door.
Oh.
You see standing
Hello?
there, without the breastplate, but wearing very fine, noble-looking clothing, and a large draping cape that goes over his left shoulder, is Lucifon. Hair much more well-kept now, and smiling at you.
Rowan comes like skidding out of her room.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good
May-
evening.
May I come in?
Sure,
Yes, we've already opened the bottle.
there's a bottle of wine on the coffee table with glasses if you'd like some, and like it's like peering out of the room, just telling him that.
Wine doesn't much do anything. I appreciate it. Walks in and looks around at everybody, and seems you've already become quite adjusted to the inn. Congratulations. I'm sorry about my previous interactions earlier. I'm supposed to hold myself to a certain standard of action for the public's sake. When you act too nice, they stop respecting your authority.
His authority.
So that's why they fear you.
Among other reasons.
I mean, that's why they fear you.
But yes, he goes over to a chair and unlatches the single belts around his chest, and you see the hulking blade just immediately to the ground, and he just leans it against the chair so he can sit down appropriately. So, what were the matters that you all needed attending to?
Well, for starters, apparently the tribespeople around these areas are losing young or weak members of their tribes to some mysterious entity, whether it be someone or something.
I've
Do you
heard
know
about
anything
this.
about people from the mountains coming down to steal children? Is this a common thing around these parts?
Not common for these parts as of late. We've had luckily about a 50-year respite between when those activities were more common, but luckily the previous god captain was able to handle that just fine. But why are you bringing this information to me out of the blue? I've already heard about this, and although they have my condolences, there's nothing that I am at liberty to do.
Well, we would like to help them because if we don't, then they are going to lay waste to these lands.
Oh.
Anger and revenge.
Reasonable offer on their end, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, who
So-
can blame them? And just, it's...
If somebody steals from you, you deserve to cut their hand off. They steal a part of your heart. You deserve to remove theirs.
So,
Graphic.
Interesting
Well,
way for things,
but-
but
if anything to happen to my family, that's the same attitude I would have. So, but you may not be at liberty to do something about it yourself, but we are, and we'd like to investigate.
That's a fair offer. You to believe that anything is happening inside of my little port town.
there
We
might.
believe there's some certain trades of items illegally being sold here.
Now, as I have been instructed to be courteous towards you all, I would like to remind you not to be throwing out any allegations without proof.
No.
beforehand.
Of course not. Just some selling of weapons that definitely didn't belong to the people who sold them.
He kind of like leans back in his chair and just cocks his head towards you, Kothar. Would you like to elaborate?
As we were coming up here, you know how the roads are. Highwaymen stealing things. We came upon a cave, must have been their hideout or something. They had been brutally ran out, killed, not sure, of their area.
Ooh.
And found that there was goods from different places there, and that some of it had been sold to a gentleman with the initials GG.
Roll an insight check. Whoever's looking at him right now.
Definitely Solaris. It's just kind of reading him the whole time.
I'm not staring at him. I'm like looking through pantries for food and alcohol.
There's a whole lot more of that little juice, Kothar, but not a whole lot of alcohol.
It really wasn't that great.
Yeah. All of you, in fact, as soon as you say GG, you see a quick flash of a flirt of a fury across his eyes, and all of you can swear that you felt a frigid tension just whoosh over your body and then disappear.
I see you know who that might be.
May. And if they're doing any dealings that would leave my town to be at risk, I think it's about time I handle them myself. Thank you for the information.
Oh, we could always, help out.
I don't really think that would be terribly necessary, but I
No.
appreciate the notion.
I'd like to be a part of these, For the amount they were sold, they could be very powerful weapons, and just want to make sure they get to the proper owners.
You tell us what his name is?
First, provide me proof.
And
Mm-hmm.
do you have that book?
Yep. And walks over and opens up the chest and pulls it out and shows Lucifon the ledger.
Holds his hand out, takes it, and very gently grabs it from you.
You'll notice there are 3 items on that list. 2 of them, with their description, it's very vague, but for their worth,
Very
I'd say
unique.
could identify certain weapons.
Well, I know who this glaive is currently being held by. our beheader around here, the port master.
I'm more worried about the two swords than the glaive.
And why is that? He stares you in your eyes, Kothar. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, god damn it. Luciphon. I haven't looked directly at him. I'm still searching for things.
Oh, he'll find your eyes. He'll find them. You feel
18.
a frigid shatter up your spine, but as you feel that and you kind of feel his focus has been concentrated on you, unbeknownst to anybody else in the room, there's a momentary presence of a larger looming force behind you, Kothar, that you feel the instinct to growl grows in your stomach, and that frigid presence just recedes away from you. As I thought.
Excuse me, sorry. Something caught in my throat.
You don't need to jest, I'm not much for lying. I just tried to magically come over you. You resisted. Very well, might I add. Or was that not you?
No, it was me.
Right, fool. He gives you a coy smile.
But I've heard of these weapons. The two, at least. I don't know anything about the glaive, honestly.
I know the people who held them. They came through here about a month and a half ago. Wily little creatures, halflings, as they're referred to.
Did they cause a ruckus?
The one did. However, it was more along the lines of finding out somebody was extorting some villagers and handling the situation. Now, I enjoy vigilante justice as much as the next tiefling, but
Yeah, true.
there's a level of standard I must uphold in my home. I asked them to leave very cautiously, and the one didn't like my tone. He rolls up his sleeve where you see there's a large gash in his arm, scarred over and sewn up to be healing. I was very surprised.
Luckily, he's out of practice.
I'll take that as a suitable warning then.
That's what happens when you take a break from it all for a long time.
Preaching to the choir on that one. But anyways, they had it. And then there was a report of a different individual carrying them through the town. A hooded man. Large staff in his hand. I've never seen him myself. He apparently had both of them strapped to his side and went out towards the hooked lake very quickly. Chartering a boat, paying an absurd amount for it, and heading directly towards the Dead Man Island.
Solaris immediately starts writing.
Wait, don't we have a map?
You do. You pull it out and you see one of the islands is labeled DMI, Dead Man Island. It's not terribly far, 15 miles or so off the shoreline. However, there's 3 warning spots and locations for large looming animals and beasts or creatures that live down there.
Well, this is very pertinent information.
You gave me good information, I'll give it back to you.
Much appreciated.
Of course.
You know, you might not be so bad in kind of teases and goes and pours another glass.
I assure you I am. But thank you. Now, that individual I'm going to go handle. Maybe tomorrow morning. I want to calm down a little bit before then.
And kind of like completely no poker face, like raises his eyebrow, like this is calm, or not, or this is not calm. Like, huh?
He releases the grip on the chair where you see the arm has been squeezed and destroyed.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I'll pay for that. This is a lot of information at once.
That's kind of how we roll, actually. Just
Very nice. Well, is there anything else you wish to transpire?
Wait, Lucifon?
Yes.
If you had to suggest or pick one place in this whole town, what's the place a person could have the most fun in one night?
Well, at risk of sounding too arrogant.
Oh God.
I would say my home.
Is that the name of a bar? My home?
No, it's where I live. However, my wife would be very upset with me if I opened up any invitations, so I regret to inform any of you my name is, or my answer is, no thank you.
Huh.
How about second best place then?
I don't know, this town fucking sucks. It's boring, it's dreary. You go in the streets and people are just selling whatever they can scrounge up from the beach, the shoreline. You get too far out of line and I have to get called to knock your head around.
There are no secret late night fight clubs.
If there were, I would be a part of it a long time ago.
You seem like a guy who used to partake in underground fighting pits.
Oh, frequently, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll get back into it. The missus has been keeping me closer to home lately. And you see when he says that, he has a very soft expression come over his face. No longer being difficult to read, but a very strong fondness and reminiscent smile.
Where did you and your wife meet?
Roll a persuasion, Rowan.
Son of a...
I highly doubt you've ever heard of it.
oh, and at risk of keeping you away too long, does anyone else have anything for tonight, or do we pick up this conversation again in the morning?
In the morning, sounds about right.
I just have one more question.
Yes, sir.
What do you know of the portals?
He leans back and looks around the room, and then back at you, Kothar. Am I allowed to speak freely here?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Infernal, we'll just tell him we've encountered one already open, and we're here to see them stay closed.
I do not need your permission, little one. Looks directly at Kothar. I need his.
Yep.
Fine. I know of one And I know there's a second one hidden around here. The second one leads out to the plane of fire. Coinciding along this one, a hellish scape, forgive the pun. Powerful and kept cooled by the waters that's fish and cycle through the hook. I know that they've been becoming weaker recently. In the past decade or so. And that's how I got here. Now, before you turn into a righteous fury, says mockingly towards you, Gothar,
Asshole.
I am here for myself and for my wife. There's nothing that all these mortals can do that I would ever care about, aside from being by her side. And if you wish to question that word, I swear by the name of my father, Asmodeus, that I would not do anything on this plane if it was not for my wife.
Excuse me, did you just say that your father was Asmodeus?
Yeah. Tieflings have a heritage, a lineage.
Okay, so he's not your direct father.
Wait, I've been asked whose mine was, and I don't know.
He leans back and just turns his head looking at you. You don't know.
No.
Now, little one, you should have a power within you. An ability, a quiet response to other beings. Something magical that blooms inside of you that you can call upon in your infernal tongue. What is it?
In's gonna concentrate on that and use the disguise self from their racial background.
So, what do you turn into? Or who do you turn into?
An elven version of N.
He stands up and starts walking around. Your lineage goes back to the Despater. Removed quite a bit.
Well, that I assumed.
But you still have his power inside of you.
I know nothing of him.
Nor do you really want to.
Again, I had assumed.
Disgusting, vile creature, most of the lords of the hells are. There's only two of them that resemble fair in the dealings of mortal kind. And Despater is a liar, stronger than any other liar.
Well, thank you for that.
It's not a problem. Tieflings should not know what they... should not be afraid of what they are. They should learn it, live it, and embrace. We are a fantastic species after all. Stretches.
Rowan dies a little on the inside.
I think the entire room kind of dies a little bit.
Oh, he's definitely arrogant.
That I'd agree with, but not everyone sees it that way, and it's unfortunate.
For them. I've traveled around. I've seen how they treat me. I know what I am. Most of them have no idea what they are. I'd say that's a win in my book.
Agreed. And In holds out their hand to shake his.
He smiles and grasps underneath your hand and leans down and kisses it and puts it back. Clearly was not, aware that you wanted to shake.
Well, it's nice to find someone who understands.
Yeah, well, don't go getting too soft and blushy about anything. Right?
No, just...
Jesus Christ, what is this next generation coming to? All right, so I'm gonna be heading out now. I'm gonna go take care of the portmaster, inquire about those details, and quite possibly putting out a new job offering to fill his role here soon. When you all get over to the docks, you're looking for Hansy. Hansy's a small gnomish man, but he has a fast vessel that is large enough to carry all of you through. He will not go to Dead Man's Island, so I recommend you grease his palm to borrow the vessel and quite possibly not fully tell him what it is you're going out there to do.
Very well.
It's a pleasure meeting you all. Goodbye. Turns and walks out, grabbing his blade and bringing it with him.
And kind of like, as soon as he like walks out, and kind of makes faces of like metal and it's soft and just like mocking as they go back to the bath.
Well, I'm quite exhausted, so bath for me and then bed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Solaris.
Good night. Is there a balcony, DM?
There is.
Rowan takes her blankets and drags them out to the balcony for the night.
And Gabriel, I assume you go downstairs after food is brought up for you and you all get to enjoy it. So, with everybody gaining their respite here inside of a very quiet town, beginning to finally unravel some of the secrets that have been piling up inside of your minds, I think this is a good place for us to end the evening. So, everybody out there in Twitch and D&D land, thank you so much for hanging out with us here today. If you're watching this in the VOD, be sure to go check out twitch.tv/Jiro for us all to enjoy these shows and these games live that we do every single Wednesday through Sunday. Sometimes bi-weekly on Saturdays. Might be changing that soon. But players, thank you for playing. Viewers, thank you for watching. And I hope you all had a fantastic time. Goodbye.